in that period, I would have been looking at the market and saying, oh, nothing that affect Jamaica. You know? So I just sat and I watched as the market declined severely. And I was thinking, hey, we have another major event happening now. That's the issue with Russia and Ukraine. And I'm thinking, I'm in the same mindset of, how will this affect Jamaica? And I'm thinking, I'm literally sitting and watching, and and the same thing happened to me that happened with COVID, where you sit and watch too long. And sometimes it's better to maintain your capital by exiting and assessing a situation instead of just sitting and watching your value of your portfolio decline. So
or you can assess, you can assess and then act accordingly when the thing actually happened. If you're looking out for COVID, what points that affects Jamaica, then what does that look like? First case in Jamaica. And then so says in Jamaica, says probably not going to go away for now. So what do you do? Why sit and watch when it actually affecting Jamaica while you were worrying way before that it's going to affect Jamaica and the market? You wait, it actually affects Jamaica, and you sit and watch them fall. And you think about this from another side too. Everybody else that was running away from the market. Everybody selling, everybody pushing out, running away from the market. Some people buying, of course, because that's how you sell. But if you leave in money en masse because you're afraid of what's happening, you're causing the thing that you're afraid of. The market might fall, so everybody leaves. Everybody run out. You're running from it. You're causing the fall in that thing. The stock don't move by itself.
Yeah. In fact, I'll also add to that to say, one of the things that happens a lot is a lot of rubbish is said in financial circles, and nobody calls us on it or checks to see if what we're saying make even any sense. Like, think about it. I don't know how to say your name. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Samurai Loss. You said you never moved based on COVID, and you regret that, right?
Yeah.
But what almost every stock that's around it has what we call the COVID dip. And I mean, the COVID dip is a real thing, but if you really think about it, did the dip actually start with COVID? Like, is that really what happened?
Well, that's not it that happened within the same period.
It's one of them things where like a bunch of bad things happen in a row, and the third one is the most popular one, and everybody decide that the third one is the thing that happened.
Yeah.
Okay. In this situation now,
well, hold on, no man, I want you to, because it is linked to the situation, right? I want you to think it through. I want you to think it through and just tell me. I'm sure you have a stock in mind that had a dip that, boy, I should have jumped out, I'm never jump out. Tell us a stock.
Well, several. I think even JMB went down. Most of the financials like NCB, Wicked.
Well, just pick one. Pick one that we can use.
Choose one, man. Let's pick one.
All right. So I work at NCB.
NCB. All right. Big up My Money JA, our data providers who have wonderfully allowed us to be able to see this data very, very easily. You say NCB fell and NCB. Let's see. So COVID happened when?
But the 2020?
2020, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so COVID, we saw the COVID dip happening in 2020. March 2020, I think, was the first day. March, was it then? March 4th? Yeah, like March 4th, right? It was early March, yeah. So this is the COVID dip right here.
Sure.
Yeah, man, the very first COVID case was, I think, March 4th or something like that in Jamaica. Early March. So if the people watching on YouTube can see this dip happening here. And so this is the COVID dip. But if you look at that chart, you see it's dropping from November 2019, right? If I go back a little further, this is March 2020. But NCV was dropping from July 2019. So was it really COVID that made it drop? Because they never released COVID. The first COVID case didn't happen until
I think what happened is there was some delayed reaction on
from June.
And the JC June kind of first still. But
yeah.
I think there was some delayed reaction because
what you're realizing there is reality. We say a lot of things that don't really go so. We fit the narrative to match what we want after the fact. Not to say that COVID didn't have an effect on the market. Like I said, the COVID effect on the market is very, very immediate. Early March, you see the big dip, right? But the truth is, things were dipping before. If you remember, from late 2019, what was everybody excited about?
I don't remember, but I know wasn't COVID the first COVID case in 2019?
Let's not hyper focus on COVID. We're not trying to say that it's COVID. We're trying to find out what really happened. Everybody was excited about Trans Jamaica.
Yeah. You know, you're right. Yeah,
it was a large listing.
Yeah, so they were saying so a lot of the volume was being extracted from other stocks to be pumped into TransJam. I think that was some of
and so hold on now. One thing that I'm very adamant about is that we're just talking a very real way on this show. So like a lot of volumes were being extracted.
A lot of money. All right. So persons
not even money. Just you have to talk. Yeah, you have to say it in real terms so that you can always be able to identify it when it's being said at any other point in the future. So what people were saying then was, yo, me have the money put on for Trans Jamaica. Yo, Trans Jamaica. Yo, me sell this and that and that and that for Trans Jamaica.
So Trans Jamaica had a roadshow before it actually come to market.
Whole heap of ads.
Just wait, man.
Thing. Yeah, man.
I remember that. I remember that.
Trans Jamaica time.
Yeah, man. And so I think what you are seeing that you say you never pay attention to, it wasn't COVID. It was the Trans Jamaica dip. Now, there was a COVID dip, like I said, and you can see it for almost any stock. Name another stock. Like you mentioned JMB.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of rough. I mentioned JMB and JMB again for the same time period. JMB for the same time period. March. This is JMB's dip. Yeah, this is JMB's dip. Mid-March to end of March. That's a COVID dip. Every stock that was around then, almost every stock, not every stock, but the majority of stocks that were around then had this dip happening. But now here we are in 2022, and we reference this entire drop that you can see was happening from long before. We call it the COVID dip, even though the COVID dip really is just right here. So 4 weeks, 3 weeks. And maybe I'd call this a COVID lull. But the truth is they were falling from before. So I have to really be aware of what it is that's affecting them in a real way. And I remember Dan and I spoke a lot about it, especially on the podcast back then, that you hear a lot about how the market is this and the market is that. But the truth is, unless you're a fund, and not even a fund, unless you're a poorly managed fund, you're not buying the market. If you're buying the market, then you have an enormous amount of money and a huge spread.
Enormous amount of imagine
And I don't, and
at
if you have
every
an
given point.
enormous amount, well, you don't have to have an enormous amount of money, but you may be too spread for the amount of money you have.
No, and
Well, that's
enormous
what,
amount of stocks.
yeah, that's the point. The point is that you
Why have 80 odd stock? What are you
yeah,
doing there?
Yeah, man, I agree. I'm working on that. I agree.
yeah. So the
You're right about the transjam because I remember discussing that at the time because the market was dipping and I was telling people a transjam man, people that sell off
You know
stocks
what?
to
I
put money
remember
in transjam.
me and Randy getting questions around the transjam dip when it was happening. I remember talking about it, and I remember when COVID before COVID even reached it. COVID was talking before COVID even become a global threat. People start saying, "What about the COVID-19?" And then we started hearing people blaming COVID for the dip that's already happening and was already discussed, already pretty popular as a transjam thing. But then it started becoming a COVID thing before COVID even reached it. I remember more than one time we get requests to talk about what's going on with COVID and the market. It's when COVID actually hit, we got less of those requests after COVID actually come.
Okay, so all right, so with all of that said, with the current situation, just to bring it back.
all right. So with the current situation now, we have to think to ourselves: if the COVID dip, which was a very panic and immediate reaction, where you can see you randomly pick a stock, and you can see the dip that happened in March of 2020 for that stock, almost any stock. With this situation happening now, what would the dip be on? Because we hear us say, in addition to that stuff that happened with us, we made a lot of money during 2020.
Yeah, man, if you have money, you have money, you know.
No, not if you have money. It's a percentage thing.
Oh, man,
if you pick, no, it is a real thing. If you pick properly, if you pick companies sensibly, then you'll make money regardless of what's happening then, right? And if you pick companies sensibly, then the COVID dip actually ended up being a great boon.
A great opportunity because
you
could have locked your eye. So you could have locked your eye and buy.
I know, that's why I'm upset.
Yeah, so like I used Pulse as one example during that time, I think. Memory serves me correctly. Pulse. So you see how everybody has this COVID dip for March? This dip in Pulse is not a COVID dip.
It's a stock split.
That's a stock split, all right? Or was it JamT that had the stock split then?
JamT, 2021 JamT stock split.
They've done a stock split.
More than once, 2020, I think. See, they're the big.
Yeah, man. No, this is JamT. See, late March 2020. This dip here in JamT, I think this is when JC was doing, and forgive me if I can't remember not working properly, but I think this is when JC started to do that. They enforce, that date between the effective date of the split or whatever, and trading early. Yeah. But those two stocks were wonderful. And you're right, Dana, about the late 2020 stock split, because there's one there. Thanks to my money JA for allowing us to see that stuff clearly. But there's also one here. Enough time John Jackson and company and split that stock, couple of times. And who knows?
To the point where the money man say, yo, when we start look at, that's funny, right? We know JamT, which is $4, realize there's some softness. So they said, which price? I don't know, yeah, and might get some good timing there. Just saying.
Yeah, and it's coming close to $4 again. It's just a matter of being honest with yourself and being practical about what is happening in the market and not going off the news. If the news, I said in the girl group the other day, was it at girl, that if journalists could predict stock movements, then there would be billionaires instead of journalists. So the reality is, the reality is otherwise. You have to just be sensible about what's happening, what's likely to go, right? And so, Samurai lost. Like your ultimate question then was, with this possible the war in the east
Event.
or this possible event, what could be happening? Where are some opportunities to profit from there? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, because I'm thinking it could affect the fuel cost, and that somehow could, if it prolongs, maybe it could lead to a shortage of fuel. I'm thinking down that line. But
I don't know if it leads to a shortage of fuel, but even if it affects fuel in that way,
they know what happened.
What does that mean for us on the local market?
Yeah, Fiscal would be affected, I would think.
How many people do you think have that idea?
I don't know. I would think
everybody and them cousin.
In
Everybody
fact,
and them cousin have that idea.
We started the conversation around that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. We did, which is likely one of the reasons why the Fiscal share price is flying now, right? In addition, of course, to I suspect continued buys by the directors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it is like that's the secret to making heavy profit, being very, 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 very practical about what actually is affecting the share prices and how they're likely to continue to affect the share prices in the future.
Mm-hmm. But I think the question was actually around panic.
Yeah, panic is a part of it. Boy,
what happened? What I see that happened last time. I don't want to happen again. That's almost exactly what you're asking, right?
Yeah, it's about not being flat-footed. I get caught flat-footed, kind of thing.
I think you have more experience with certain kind of events, and then you have to set yourself and realize that they're very different events.
Yeah.
But again, we talking World War. Are we talking World War because Twitter laugh and say that many times? Like it's been a running theme for a week now. But are we actually in a World War situation?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not there yet.
Well, everybody keeps saying yet.
Remember the last couple times we had this, it was. I mean, we even had a whole World War joke post the other 2020. When was it? I think that with the whole Iran thing. Remember that?
I don't know. Every other year we at church for
World War.
Yeah, maybe it is a world war. It's always Rihanna pregnant, world war. I know she's actually pregnant, so maybe it's time the world done. So, the truth is,
I promise you though, if a nuke drops in the Caribbean, just like how COVID come to Jamaica, I don't think we're worrying about stocks and cashing up, bro.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell anybody who actually is a nerd for this stuff and cares. Take a look at history.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at history and take a look at history. A lot of money is made during war times. All right.
Yeah.
People, as long as people are alive, people will consume, and as long as people are consuming, there'll be listed companies selling those people things that they consume. All right.
So the shift.
Yeah, those shift. Complain or profit. Or the truth is, if you make enough profit, your complaints will go a lot further.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, man, big up. Duffy, you try like 3 or 4 times. I figure you're sitting right beside the Wi-Fi router now. How you doing? Evening.
Yeah, hopefully it'll work this time. I was saying that I'm new to investing, so I just wanted to kind of offer some stock investing reassurance to people like me who.
Duffy. Like every break off for the last 2 months, you join, you say evening, and then you tell us you're new to investing. You're not new to investing anymore. Or if you are, we all know. Just ask the question and stop begging you. You know you think enough now, man.
Drape, but okay. Right. So I was saying the main reason why I decided to take up stocks is because of the pandemic. In my circle of people, the only people who were financially okay throughout this entire thing, from layoffs or whatever else, are the people in the stock market, and that was the deciding factor for me to join. So for anybody who's feeling a little queasy about what's I wouldn't say don't worry because I'm not an expert, but there have people who have been all right and been better than they were before the pandemic, if you get what I'm saying, financially. So, well, as far as I know,
Is that
in my
shot?
immediate circle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I spray shot to that night. Duffy, here's what it linked to. Again, in my view, and I'm certainly not an economist, but people will always go through things, but the more resources you have is the more better able you are to go through those things.
Mm-hmm.
So, and investing is probably the most, I don't want to say the quickest, but the most resilient way, the most long-lasting way, the only real route to wealth way to get richer, right? You have to own companies, so that's just how it works. It's a simple truth. So I'm happy that you're there, and I hope more people join you. And you see the journey. You look back on this in a year and go, wow, I'll tell you this, it is not as easy as people think, but it's also definitely not as hard as people think. You get to competence a lot quicker. You get to competence before you even realize you've gotten to competence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tell a story about the young lady I know who did grow up. She know her to move. It's not like she's coming from absolutely no. She's not in finance or anything like that, but she did her grow and she's trying her little investment now. She turned her money around and she's still nowhere. She's just like you. Every time she talks, she say, oh, I'm a beginner. There was some question around her getting her pay from wherever she were. Now that them just sound iffy, like it now go run this month, and that sound like something that has happened in the past. And what she did, she cashed out some of her stocks just in case she needed to cover her bills. And she was talking about that. I messaged her and I said, you realize what you just did? You realize that you have literally invested to the point where investments can serve as a hedge against anything wrong? That is the point of it. The point of the money is not to just count it. The point of the money is to spend it on things. And
exactly.
The money is
the reason you have more is because you want to afford more. It's not to look at the bank account. In fact, if that was the point, you'd be saving. You save a bank account and not spending on anything. And everybody know how that go.
Yeah, the point of the money is to spend it, right? So I'm happy that you're doing that.
Also, it's gotten a little bit addictive.
Oh yeah, trust me, you're talking to two fully blown addicts.
Yep.
Because
like we're here because on a Friday night because
reading around. Yeah, like reading around the different companies is like this, and this CEO is also the CEO for another prospectus or whatever, and then you start looking at how everything is linked. It's kind of, I don't know. It's really interesting.
You sound like you have a specific company here, but talk the things and which company that?
No, no. I'm not as brave as you guys. So I'm just saying I like how I like the learning process.
If you can read about this public,
I'm not confident enough, guys.
I won't put you under pressure. Don't be confident enough. Just say the stock that you're researching. Dan and I know the market very well. Just say one of them.
Well, clearly I was researching JFP along with everybody else, and then it led me down.
Not clear, trust me.
Well, okay, so other people.
So you're talking about Spur Tree,
then yes, exactly that. And then when I read that, my mind was blown. I had to put down my laptop and go walk.
Duffy, make we keep everybody listening on the same page. We don't want to leave nobody. So you're saying that what about Spur Tree and JFP? What's the link there?
Do I really have to say it? Because I'm a scaredy puss.
It's a literal
public document. There's nothing to be scared of.
Mr. Metri is the link.
Well,
one link that I noticed, one of them. And that GK is the underwriter for both of them. And then it led me down a road of like researching all past GK stock and their performance, and then tying that with NCB since both of them were the underwriters for JFP, and it led me to this. Well, how to word this without sounding crazy? it gave me more confidence basically in my choices. The whole research thing that you were saying, like growing rich with research, that made essentially making those
No, man, tell
connecting
the
those
people
dots
what happened. It's okay.
made me
Every
more
week,
confident
hold on,
with
man.
my.
Hold on, Duffy. Hold on, Duffy. Every week, people come on this show and give brokers free ads. It's okay to give the person whose show it is an ad too. Tell the people what happened. You did grower. You did
Oh,
grow rich
Randy,
with research.
Jesus Christ.
No, of course. Then when you,
Yes.
you know somebody to, you did grow. You learned that this thing isn't magic. Yeah, you learned that this thing isn't
Okay,
magic.
let me
You learned
tell
that there's a
you.
process behind it, and you actually started to
Yes.
do the research and follow the lines, and you found out this.
Yes.
The chairman of Spiritually is also the CEO. Is also the CEO of Jamaica Fiberglass. Is he the
Yes,
CEO?
sir.
What's his official role? And immediately that leads you to a link, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's the CEO of the company. Same person. Metro Siaga, CEO of Jamaica Fiberglass, and Spiritually, chairman of the board, right? And so you're starting to think that, okay, it gives you more confidence then in at least in what? In your consideration of fiberglass?
Yeah, it made me a little bit more secure in applying for the IPO. At least as long as and then I saw that, and they deliberately made it public that Mr. Webby was also investing in it for whatever reason, but they did that.
In what?
In JFP.
Okay.
So
where did they make that public, by the way? Where was that made public?
I don't remember where I saw it, but they said that okay, don't quote me because I feel it's either I'm saying him or Grace, the backing of Grace being one of the underwriters.
That is correct. It is coming to market from GK Capital, which is GK Capital is the lead broker on it, and they also have a heavy reserve pool within it. So GK will have a stake, I believe, in it. GK also has a strong stake in Spiritually. So that gave you more confidence.
More confidence in in applying for the IPO and
making a decision there, yeah.
It also made me feel like even they're not going to allow it to fail, if that makes sense, like within a certain time frame. And then I looked at I don't know if I'm allowed to say this.
Is it defamatory to somebody?
Ooh, no, but I was looking at the connections of like okay, I looked at the fact that they tried to go to IPO before, right? And it wasn't successful.
Who's they? We have to be clear because we're talking about two companies.
JFP.
Okay, so JFP has tried to come to IPO before. JFP.
Yeah, it was JFP, and it wasn't successful, and it was during a time where it seemed as if the people involved didn't have certain connections. They do.
I don't know if it's certain connections. I think maybe it was more like that. Hold on, let me just help you out. I think maybe it was more around the time when they didn't feel that it was the right time to come to market. I think maybe it was around the same COVID fears, for a little while.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of people were kind of afraid of coming to market, and so even if they planned to, they might have held off. But now that we're kind of used to COVID now, nobody cares about COVID anymore. Now the new COVID is Putin,
and
the man said let's take our chance. And we saw it successful. It closed early, and it will probably listed soon, maybe in a week or two, and then it will be on the market for anybody to buy, like Danai, who said never buy any, and like me, who also never buy any. So let's see what it looks like then. And the people who bought it at IPO, that's a nice conversation. What kind of allocations do you think them get, Danai?
Slim.
Slim, no, man. We can't do that. We have to be more precise. I mean, of course, it's a guess. So what you're thinking?
Yeah, I hate that guess actually. 10,000.
Just a percent. You can say,
I know, 30%. I'll say 30. 30%
in the
above
same
that.
line. 30, maybe even as much as 40, 50% allocation.
Yeah.
What is that sound every time? Oh, that's Phil who is on. Sir Phil, I'm going to mute you unless you're talking now, because I keep wondering what's that thing that I'm hearing. Ooh. Sorry about that. But yeah, 30 to 50% allocation, which I think will be very I hate using the typical term interested, but I am interested in seeing how.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because it's a nothing term, but I am actually interested in seeing what happens when it lists, because I believe that's a larger allocation. That is one of the larger allocations for an IPO. Duffy, I don't know if I said this when you were at Go Up, but I tend to tell people, and I think I've tweeted it out before, that when it comes to an IPO, if you really like it, you do not want big allocations. You should want a small allocation. Why? Yes, I know everybody want to get what them apply for, but if you get what you apply, if everybody get what them apply for, then that means that the demand has been sated. The demand has been cut a lot, right? What you want is people to, you want people to want more of the shares and not be able to get it, and then that will allow the demand to kind of continue. That's the sort of thing you should, and that's what happens when there are clearly good companies coming to market and maybe more limited shares, and then you have more of that demand coming. And then if the company is also good and their continuous operations continue to be good or also grow, then it's even better. It's a perfect storm. And we've had that time and time again on the junior market and on the main market. But if you check the history, you can see what happens oftentimes when there's a bigger allocation, when people get kind of what they want. Then why would I go and buy more if I've gotten what I wanted, right? Near what I wanted.
My money done. Everything going on the IPO, get this nice price. Time to wait on everybody else to do the thing.
Exactly. I believe Fiscal actually was one of those. If you remember, Fiscal.
Yeah. It wasn't much thing there. I think it's funny because we laughed at that.
Yes. It
in a good way.
Laugh like, it was about 40%.
Large allocation, and we felt like we got away with something. Like we get so much, really. And then on the market, you can see the immediate reaction to Fiscal on the market wasn't so strong. And again, laughing to the bank. So yeah, it does. But if what you want from an IPO is January want the price to be up 200-300% first week, a large allocation is it's very unlikely that it works out that way.
Very, very unlikely.
Not impossible, just unlikely.
Yeah, and that's why it's interesting to me, because I have this theory in my mind about how it will go, but sometimes I'm wrong, and I've said it before. I'm very excited every time I'm wrong, because it's a new way to learn something, you know.
Yeah, that anyone can say I've been watching massive like TV.
Really?
Yeah, man. That queue. Yeah. And so it's like that 1900. That 1900 was strong. Like it pushed the price up. And somebody said no recently. Dropped 70 mil in one order. And then now at 1950 on the sell side, it's $100 million order. This is dropping.
Yeah. Just to go back to the Fiscal point. The general public in Fiscal got 43.9%.
I couldn't tell what I was feeling. If I was disappointed or happy, like I think I was more disappointed, to be honest.
It hadn't happened in such a long time. I think that was it.
Yeah.
It had not happened in such a long time that there was such a large allocation. And what happened with the share price? So this is not stuff we're theorizing. This is right there. It's history. List at 80 cents. It did have a nice pop. It popped, meaning it went from 80 cents a little over $1. But you notice it listed in April. And up to June, you could get it at the $1 and a couple of cents limit, right?
Yep.
And then after the first results come out, and people are like, "Oh wait, this company isn't. We may have ignored this one. There's a nice little hype. and then it kind of fell again, but fell at the 2 odd level, and it has continued. The second results came out during COVID, and nobody cared about it, but the directors kept buying. And then coming up to the latest results, it spiked, and it spiked and fell again, and then this jackass talked about it on Twitter, Twitter space again and again and again after him saying I have none. I'm talking about myself, by the way. I am the jackass who didn't have it. And I think that helped a lot more people understand it. And the directors again are buying, and here we are at $5. Not even 1 year since it's listed. If you got it at IPO, my God. If you got this at IPO, you are looking on what? 627% growth, or 527% profit in less than 1 year. Ooh.
What a time.
And this is during COVID. So that's why you shouldn't watch the news. You should watch the market. All right.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah, everybody knows it. That's the most dangerous thing in the market. Thanks for that, Duffy. Sir Piggles, you haven't had your hand up for a long, long time. Well done, sir. How is things? In your side of the world, too.
Well, people going good morning, all hosts and co-hosts. Yeah, man. Afternoon for me, early. Morning for me, yeah. Nothing really happening. I mean, there's been a spike in like the electricity costs here in Japan. I guess because of I don't know if it's related to the war directly, but just before that, they were saying that there's going to be an increase in fuel costs. And Japan usually uses nuclear power, so some people would have noticed that Jamaicans have noticed a little spike in their light bill. So just for reference, usually my light bill without season, like maybe spring when it's not too hot or cold, will be about 3,000 yen per month, which is like what, 4,500 or 4,000 Jamaican dollars for the month. That's a
You keep the AC on where you live in Japan?
In the summer when I keep the AC on and I run the PlayStation, it's like maybe 7,000 max. Maybe. Yeah, which is like 8,000 Jamaican dollars, which is really
count your blessings, brother.
Right. So yeah, man, I'm very happy for that nuclear power, but not the other one, isn't it? For the war. But two things I want to say. Fiscal to the moon, because I don't know. Strong management team. Gas shortage coming up and all those things. I'm so sorry about the price of gas, but I'm quite happy with the stock price. Two.
They have no control the price, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I feel it for the people, because just the minimal increase in the minimum wage really doesn't affect people that in the right way. But we have to just do what we can.
Hold on. Will you remember? I don't want to cut you. Cut you, Dre, but will you remember your second point? Because I want to actually talk about the first point. Since you raised a good fiscal point, and we were just talking about fiscal.
All right, you can just piggyback on Duffy's thing. Metrosiaga is also on the board of PTL, I think, as well as linked with AMG. So those are other things if you want to look at to see. And the fact that the GK Capital is actually backed it with this was the VP, senior VP of GK Capital said, "Yo, this company shows that conservatively they can actually maintain revenue because they also." Did some outfitting of KFCs in Dominican Republic, I think 12 KFCs, which had pushed up their exports by 40%. So they have the ability to get the contracts, I think. So persons are kind of skeptical on if they're actually going to realize those contracts and realize those things. So, I mean, if GK kind of back in and GK is not a P&P company, I mean,
true.
That should have some value.
We have to add the bias
context
to
that,
bringing them to market.
The
broker's going to say the best things, but that's good information. I like what you're saying. That's strong information. Because if you remember last week, one of the things I said was that I don't know how well they can compete within the region. And I think they were planning to make some good moves based on just the fact that the logistics from China is still facing a little bit of downtime. And not that that's bad, you get me, but in terms of repeat business. I mean, literally, the strength of a business outside of the IPO excitement, the strength of the business is on what kind of continuous revenue it can pull and what kind of profits it can maintain. If they can maintain those revenues significantly, then it's a win.
Right. Should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
think
Fingers
remember
crossed.
that. I
it's,
also remember.
You might end up with another fiscal situation where you
I would
get
have
a
done
lot
that.
more
that's
in
the
the
whole reason we
IPO.
mentioned Fiscal. It's not that I think people are taking it journals or weak listing. I say maybe it's an opportunity. If speak to your advisor.
Yeah.
Or link the 9. Pay the 9. Link the 9.
Yeah. Easily the best advisor, and I don't say that lightly. Right? And I don't say that lightly at all. Going back to the fiscal point, I like that you touched Duffy's point there, showing the strength of the research. And you've also done grow up. It sounds like this thing is really good, brother.
Makes sense. I mean, it's a good look at it. Advanced grow as well. Advanced grow too, you know?
Yeah,
I find it funny that Fiscal and PTL are back in the same conversation.
Yes, they are. And on the fiscal point, what I wanted to talk, because I know I was going to lose it, and I feel like I'm losing it. It was around the cost of the gasoline. I remember, there's a cost of the gasoline. There's a couple of things not mentioned, and some of them I don't want to say. I mentioned advanced draw coming up on Monday, and this one is on short-term investing, and that's always a packed class because it's around the basics and the understanding of actual short-term investing on the local market. Big up people like Malik, who you will certainly be mentioned at that course. But not just that. On the fiscal point, yeah, we tend to pay attention just to the gas, and the gas is a huge part of the revenue. But the people who read the prospectus, I like that so far everybody that has spoken about reading the prospectus. And the people who actually read the prospectuses tend to understand the companies a whole lot more and see things that other people don't see.
LNG, Beachwood.
No, let me show you my style. It's a rule of thumb. You see, if everybody mentioning it, everybody already know it, right?
True.
So everybody know gas, everybody know LNG, everybody know when Jamaica is rich and has Teslas, Fiscal will have a electric network. Here's the real thing. Fiscal is also a distributor of non-transport fuel, asphalt, kerosene, heavy fuel oil. Check those government GIS things and see how many roads are being built and rebuilt currently. How much the highway is being expanded. That's the stuff that you don't hear anybody talking about. And it's in the prospectus, right? They also talk about lubricants and chemicals. This is where you have to bring the actual thinking and understanding of a company in. They spoke about being excited about is it the Beachwood location, Danai?
Yeah, the 2 locations, Beachwood and somewhere else.
Beachwood and the one at the top of Mandela. And the top of one on Mandela is a typical
Ferry.
Fiscal.
Ferry?
Ferry. Yeah, same place. It's a typical Fiscal location, meaning it is dealer owned, I think, and company operated. But the one at Beachwood is
we
company owned and company operated, which means that they don't have to share the revenues from it. It likely means higher profit margins at that outlet. And people like me, meaning me, make sure I go and check out every excuse I have. I go there to go Beachwood. You're in one of my groups, Cervical. So people take it serious. I see people send videos from the Fiscal. They pay attention to it. One cool thing that I noticed was that Fiscal never ever really seems like there are a lot of cars there. But if you watch a place for 30 minutes, a lot of cars pass through. But what they do is, unlike any other gas station I've been in Jamaica, they're very keen on getting the people through quickly. So you don't lay up on the pump. No long talk. There's the card machine not working, which is a damn lie. I know it's not a lie sometimes. But
and they manage the lines.
They manage the lines. They manage the timer. It remind me of, and I think I said this maybe a few weeks before. It reminds me of when you go to the drive-through in foreign and they're doing those tests where they need you to move through quickly. And I think I said that in a group and somebody mentioned that they do what I do. When you go there, you go to a business, especially one of your own shares in, you just talk to the people. And the conversation was around the lines of, the manager, them very, very serious now, because them have on some time as makers, so we get people out. That says that there's a huge flow through it quickly. The one at the top of Ferry, there's almost always what looks like traffic coming out to Mandela. And I have bought gas there also. And it moved extremely quickly. I said that to say, it means then that they're likely selling more fuel than they would in the past, especially more fuel than they would have had reported when they were IPOing. And thanks to COVID, the slowdown, and Uncle Vlad, the fuel that they're selling is now extremely more expensive. I see people on Twitter talking about, yo, gas is almost 100% higher now than it was a year or 2 years ago. And I'm saying, oh no, but I'm also saying, oh no, right? So if think about if the core thing that they sell is near 100% high, and you can sprinkle salt on 100%, I haven't worked it out. Big up again my money JA though, because he noticed to keep the weekly gasoline prices from the government on the Fiscal page. But regardless of those small factors, that simple factor of the gas being more expensive, them selling more gas, them now having at least one large outlet that has a much bigger push through of customers in terms of people actually buying and selling gas, and anything else that the C store or whatever, the convenience store, all those volumes are now going to the, at least from that outlet, is now going to Fiscal directly. Yeah. They may very well be able to, in my personal view, and again, we're not advisors, but they may very well be able to report a few quarters well
of profits.
Of not just profits, but solid increases in profits to the point where they can cut. Because look at their PE now. At 502, their PE is 60.33 times. Very high. But one report is all it takes, and suddenly it gets chopped down. We saw that kind of chopped down with CPJ. Yeah, CPJ had a PE of over 100, and it was extremely overvalued, crazy at the top of February. And literally a week later, 2 weeks later, the report come out, and suddenly the PE is, I want to say 20 something or 30 something, 21 times.
21.
My God.
Before I leave, I also think that the fact that the persons who are in, I don't think persons realize the value of the management. Those men have been making a lot of money in Jamaica, so there is also that intrinsic value for people to know that these people serious about money making. Director Trevor Heaven and all those guys really have been making a lot of money in the retail gas industry. So I mean, they know their stuff. So I think
it's a good sign. It was a good sign around that. Trading in shares.
Yep.
Yeah.
Them guys serious. Them guys very serious.
Yeah. Those guys are constantly buying up more and more of their own shares.
They have the most information. That's the funniest part. Right?
Yo, Dana, you remember say like a couple months ago, people were talking about this as a bad thing.
Oh yeah, called gas station of foolishness, remember?
Not just gas station of foolishness, but the directors are buying up the shares.
Oh yeah, it's very weird, bro. Like, in what world? Yo, you see, you're a company. You imagine you is a company, Randy, and your directors never they never want to buy.
No sir. Why would I buy my own company? No sir.
Right. And for the people who don't get it, I know this is still kind of Twitter, that's sarcasm. That's sarcasm. The point is, the people that have the most information are the directors of the company. The most information are the directors of the company. So much so that the law prevents them from buying at certain times.
And they buy whenever they can.
And the Fiscal guys, every single time the blackout period done, them start buying again. As the blackout is on, them stop. As the blackout start again, as blackout end, them buying again. Blackout done now, and hundreds of thousands of units, 2.2 million units on February 11th, purchased by a director. And of course, there are other little factors, but I'll save those for the group. I know you've heard some of them already, sir, people. So there are other little factors that makes it so good that even I went ahead and bought shares, so that I wouldn't feel so trolled anymore.
Here's my prediction. Last thing, I feel this company is going to be a $10 company by December.
Oh,
that is my call. So
Lincoln You'll be at Advanced Grow on Monday. After the official end of Advanced Grow, we can talk about why you're seeing that. And I'll tell you my own price predictions and the reasoning behind it. Yeah. You may not be wrong. Who knows? Maybe you're low compared to mine, but we'll see.
I would say anybody though an easy information grab. Go watch Mayberry's thing there. Mayberry forum when they spoke with the Fiscal was a focus, I think, the last time. So go watch that. Go watch that forum. You should get some nice information around the company and some plans around it.
Yeah, that's been actually a surprising treasure trove of being able to hear from company leaders and hearing sensible things from them. Not the usual. Yeah.
How often we used to cuss about this? But boy, you can't. People, it feels like a separate world. You can't talk to these guys. You can't get them.
Yeah. Mayberry continues to take the market serious. But I'm
big up earnings season. I think those guys took the market serious as well, you know.
damn serious. Yo, big up. What's that account that they always say is my burner? Stonks. By the way, not my burner. I like that account. It's very, very funny. I saw the earnings season meme last week. It was very, 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 very funny. I'll promise you guys this. Earnings season is not dead. Or if it's dead, it can always come back. There's still content out there that's been waiting for the right time, the right moment. So never count it out. Never count it out. I'm trying to remember who was next. I'm going to say it was Potato Overlord. Please don't be a troll. I see him saying hand tired. So if you're a troll, you're at least a Jamaican troll. You have to unmute if you're talking to us. Potato Overlord. I can't pronounce your other name. UVOG.
Oh, greetings, Jeremy.
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Yeah, man. What's good? I'm tired. We now wait so long.
Sorry, sir. Blame everybody else.
Yeah, man. All right. Me blame Putin then. All right, no problem.
Yeah.
All right. So we kind of come a long way since the point that I wanted to share, or the question that I had, and it had to do with the whole inflation situation, right? What I got from the conversation was that don't take your money out of stock in situations of like if we know that there's going to be an increase in inflation percentage, right? Because in your hand is worth less than if it's in the stock market. That's the sentiment, right?
Let's not say that because I don't like the absolutes.
I'm just trying to understand what the conversation was, because my question is, hold on 1 minute. My question is, how do you know when it's a good time to actually pull your money out of stock? Because if it is that you're in a situation where you realize that the price is going down, is it that, like what we're having now with the whole war going on, persons are panic buying, and do you follow that? Sorry?
Panic buy?
Is that happening?
Panic buy. That's a crazy one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Is that actually happening?
Is it based on what I'm just going based off what you guys said or what I understood?
You never hear us say that though. You see why we're so wary of it, because
that's why I said. Questions to clarify.
Yeah, man. All right. Let's break it down one by one, because you said some things to intro it, right? You're saying, when do you know when to sell?
Yeah.
That's the official core question, which allows me to have my official everymickle.com/grower ad at least one every week, where if you come to grower, I assure you have a few things. One of them is that you will know the answer to that question. everymickle.com/grower. We answer it very, 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 very clearly. I think we had a Valentine's gift code going the last time. I don't have any gift code going this time, and grow is tomorrow morning 10:30. So anybody listening to this would have to buy very quickly.
Soon.
Yeah, very soon, because I soon turn that off if they want to come, right? And I don't need a too overloaded class. So we're doing it tomorrow morning 10:30, all day session. And when you're done, if you don't understand the market, you understand the market. Now you hear Duffy, hear the growth in Duffy. It should move from I really don't know to Metro Siaga is the head of this and that, and it gave me more confidence in buying my IPO. I love that. That over a buying because it feel good, or my friends talking about it. No, going back to your point about when you know when to sell, your knowledge around when to sell should all be shaped by your goal, right? Your goal determines it. Now, if you're in the stock or whatever and you think that it's not going to achieve your goal, why would you stay in the stock? But not staying in a stock doesn't mean leaving the stock market completely and going to cash, right? You might mean going into a different stock, right? During that same COVID time I mentioned, when that COVID dip was happening, the Trans-Jamaica dip, I lost money in the market. What did I do? Did I go to cash and wait it up? No, I reworked my portfolio because something is always going to do well.
Somebody must benefit.
Yeah, man. You see, the same things you mentioned, wartime. You mentioned wartime, and you mentioned everybody else mentioned gas going up. You heard us 30 seconds earlier, 2 minutes earlier, talking about one of the big factors behind Fiscal's possible future profitability is gas going up. Yeah, so that's the thinking that you have to bring to it. Practical thinking. Look to see if what you think is happening is actually happening, right? Look to see if what you think is happening is actually happening. Watch, here's a pet theory of mine. I don't know if anybody else has said this. It is just a pet theory. I have no data behind it. But here's my pet theory. When Omicron started to spread heavily, it means that more people got sicker, but they didn't have to go to the hospital. So them take cough medicine and stay home and stuff. It also seemed to kind of lead into Fontana's best quarter ever. When people were going to the hospitals, Fontana was doing that well, and there are other factors affecting Fontana during that time. But when people could stay home and take medication, which is sold by Fontana, and I think a huge percentage of Fontana's earnings come from the pharmacy section, then Fontana seemed to have its greatest quarter ever. And I'm sure when somebody's looking back at it 5 years from now and they're talking about it, they're going to give it the COVID treatment. They're going to say, well, Fontana did great because of COVID. Right?
But that was the thing. That was the September quarter. I'm looking at December as prime time Omicron. And I think that can be a nice follow-up report.
Last December as prime Omicron. That is true. And that report has not dropped yet.
Yeah, well, September was the lockdown period when we had a spike. But my explanation around that was we had a lockdown period, we had this spike. And I think a lot of that, though, what we did see a different kind of activity around COVID at that time.
And remember, no, go ahead. Sorry.
It was heavy pharmacist activity. It was heavy. You can ask pharmacists, they were complaining on the timeline heavily around John, this place full, and people not really doing what they're supposed to do, but pharmacy was around.
Yeah, and I think also during that time, that's summer to early to September, late summer and September, by the Kingstonians especially, Fontana is not just in Kingston, but Kingstonians especially started to get very used to Fontana. So Fontana Everpack, the line name Everpack. I look for those tweets all the time. The line name Everpack.
Yes, it was. Yep.
Yeah, if the line name Everpack, chances are there's more revenue being made there. And it is after they have actually opened up the new place, and a lot of those costs, initial startup costs, are now down, and a lot of prices have now increased, right? You see how you have to think the idea through logically, not just going off the noise. That's that. Big up Gordon said before that. You ignore the noise, you focus on the actual profitable points, and then you hope that the market helps you execute with that. So that's how you know when to sell and when to buy potato overlord.
Fully understood, bro.
I tell you, I lost a lot of money 2020 when that COVID thing hit. And here's the funny thing. I was trying to avoid. So I decided this is going to fall. So I was actually seeing the thing happening. But the money was, the stocks were at a place where I had to put it, that's funny, inside JTrader ad. The stocks were at a place where I had to send in an email to get my stock sold. And every morning for a week, me and my broker had a discussion. This is the plan. We go sell. I show them the queue, tell them what price to tell it at. And every single evening that broker called me and tell me, say, sir, it never sell.
Yeah, I hate brokers like that.
Brother, may I show you the price, May I show you the price that is there. I watch it trade, and every evening tell me, say, it's not my trade, go through. I'll tell you the stock.
Who is going through?
The price was at 27 or so, 25, 27. Exactly, everybody but mine, what's going on? And it fell to around 17 when I finally got out. I had millions in that.
Yeah.
2020, for a good part of 2020, I was, oh my God, recovered.
Yeah, myself too, but I saved those stories for girl. Yeah. 2020 was the proven year where it shows, say, you listen, it's not yapping that this thing is an understanding of the market. Yeah, and that understanding paid off. So, and those, you say it, and I hate brokers that have that. But I think almost every brokerage house, except 2 are on JTrader, and the 2 that not on JTrader have JTrader-esque systems. So it's great. I still hate, I don't want to have to talk to somebody to trade. I don't want to have to ask or email or call somebody to trade. Yeah, man, leave me. Moreover, worse is me, right? I mean, I think I have a pretty good rep personally, but like I've called places before and, so what y'all buy? And I'm like, which one of us work at a broker?
Bro,
or friend, I won't call her name, but you remember that story?
Never same story.
Yeah. Guys, if you work at a brokerage house, you shouldn't be asking your clients what to buy. It look bad. Yeah, and if they don't get them units, then going to think, say, you did your trade and I never did yours.
You better have none. You better. If you're out of beat mine, we're going to court.
Yeah. Anyway, so sir,
somebody else.
Yeah. Did you get your answer plus more, sir?
Definitely.
All right, big up. I hope to see that grow. All right. If you actually want to grow and you plan to do it tomorrow morning, send me a DM and I will give you a discount code. Since you asked, I think, a useful question, and you will get a much richer answer also at grow.
Good stuff. Cool. We'll talk.
No problem. Big up. The next person I think was Naila. Hey, Miss Naila.
Hi guys, good night. So I have a couple questions and I'll just kind of go through them one by one. So my first one is kind of piggybacking off of what you had said just now about Fontana. You said when we look back a couple of years, people are gonna give it the COVID treatment. And so my question is, going off of that, is it that you look more favorably at companies that are that do well without a natural disaster or strange things happening, or where are you on that? Or is it because I'm of the school of thought that things happen naturally, and I think as a business, if you can jump on that and capitalize on that, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that, and that should be a mark of like, oh, just because of COVID, them the good. Like, where are you on that?
It's a very different thing. It's a very different thing from what we're saying. So the COVID treatment is specifically that looking back. So I'm looking back and I'm going to blame Fontana's movement. You're going to put everything that happened in Fontana and say under the umbrella of, okay, COVID is why that happened. Instead of actually looking at the company and saying why exactly with this company, how maybe COVID was a part of it and they did certain things to capitalize on it. But everything outside of that will somehow be blamed on COVID as well. Get me?
Okay, got it. Yeah.
That a lot of times what happens is that they pick the facts, they pick different facts to just match a narrative. So I'm looking back instead of actually looking at what actually happened. So last year Fontana was down. Fontana fell, because of COVID. But when you look at it, Fontana was falling from September 2019. And COVID was released in COVID hit the world in at least Jamaica in March. Months and months later, right? And even Fontana, look at that. The first week of March, 583. March 2nd, it was 583 per share. heavy dip all the way down to 408, 20 odd percent, I think. And by the 6th of April, 1 month later, back up to 626. So it was really a COVID dip. And it dip again, it back up again. I think Fontana's issues, But again, I'm saying years from now when people are looking back, the people who don't do what you hear us preaching, which is be as accurate as you can and be as honest as you can. Don't just pick a comfortable thing to fit the narrative. Those people will continue to make profit because they stick to reality. And then just to the part B of your point about, if a certain situation happens and a company benefits off it, nothing wrong with that. Fiberglass is an example of that. Fiberglass made a lot of money, I'm sure, making those little COVID things, COVID, the things that you have at the reception, the barriers, That's something that jumped up there, right? Fiscal is making money off the fact that oil costs more. They have margins off it. It's a situation. You don't get to pick the battlefield all the time, but what you do in whatever battlefield presents to you is what I should be using a battlefield analogy. But you work with what you have. Use what you
work
have.
with circumstances. You don't. Very often the world changes and you have to change with it. So we're not looking. We don't look any more favorably at a company. All right. Well, I don't. Let me say that very differently. Yes, I look favorably at companies that can adjust better. I think but that doesn't mean I invest in them on that basis. Maybe at some point, but for the vast majority, I'm not thinking, boy, this company can really adjust to if the world goes into a certain situation. And my profit point very often has nothing to do with that line of thinking.
Yeah.
If anything, that is the risk management. So after I don't determine a project with me, and what you're asking, what can go wrong, and
there we go.
How would this be affected by whatever is going wrong? And so I know how much actual risk I'm taking. By if it fall, how much would I fall by? How would I bounce back? All that conversation around that.
Yeah, and that's
support.
Yeah, exactly. Risk management support. That's the sort of thinking. That's a more structured thinking that makes you money and makes you money consistently. It's so weird that we have been saying. You've heard anybody listen to the podcast from way back then till now. We've been saying this all it was considered crazy 2 or 3 years ago. That is wow. Anyway, Nyla, am I saying your name correctly by the way? Nyla or Nyla?
It's Nyla.
Nyla. All right. What was your next question, Nyla?
So my next question was around and forgive me, I'm a beginner here, so if this is a bit naive, let me know. But
it's okay.
I'm very familiar with this concept of insider trading. And it, to me, what you were mentioning about the directors being able to buy up shares, they might not be able to buy it like at any time, but there's a certain period and then they're allowed to buy at that point. To me, it seems very insider trading like, but I don't know, like, is that, what are your thoughts on that? Because as you were saying rightfully, they are a member of the company. They know what the next moves will be. They know what's coming next. They know what's happening.
Hold on. Yeah, that's a whole heap to go into. And you'll definitely learn some of that in the future, I'm sure, very quickly. But you say you're familiar with insider trading?
To a certain extent, yeah.
I heard very familiar, so I was checking.
Yeah.
Okay, let me not say very familiar.
What is insider trading?
Okay, so I guess, there are levels to it, I would imagine. But what my high level understanding is that, okay, if I work at a biotech company and I know that something is coming now, something is coming next, if I tell my husband or my kids or my friends, then yeah, I could be convicted of insider trading, right? But so that's at a high level.
Nope.
But I go ahead, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding.
Very few people know what actual insider trading is, and I think I give away enough free gems online myself and Dana here, so I'm not trying to educate everybody, but I will say this: if it's illegal, then it's in law, and you can read the law and see what it says is illegal.
Randy, are you breaking up? Wait, Nyla, are you hearing everything Randy's saying?
Yeah, I'm hearing. I'm taking this lesson. I'm taking notes.
Oh no, I know that because I'm hearing some breakup on my side. So.
Okay.
Maybe I have a really creaky chair. Is that what you're hearing?
No, when you talk and your voice just goes. Probably just our connection. I don't know.
Okay, sorry about that. But if you want to repeat on that, I'll say it. But Nyla and everybody listening, what people tend to think insider trading is, and it is not what insider trading tends to really be. And we tend to go off what we hear on TV.
Yep.
And even, which is the US market, and even within the US market, insider trading is a very difficult thing to define and even more difficult to prove. What people think insider trading is oftentimes not what it is. What I will say, however, like you asked about me talking about the directors buying shares, specifically Fiscal. The law, it's public, truly means public. The directors are citizens of Jamaica. They're part of the public. They're allowed to buy. Now, they do have more information than pretty much everybody else external to the company. And so what the law says is that to allow the fairness of the market, because there has to be some level of, a general level of fairness, when you have information around the company that you have not yet reported to the public, you have to report it to the public, and then you can buy the shares. That's how it works. So what you hear me call the blackout period. So there's a time, I'll use Fiscal as an example. For the people watching on YouTube now, it's a bit clearer. So Fiscal's third quarter ends December 31st, right? And they report the December 31st numbers. They're due to be reported, that's what, February 14th?
Yeah, you should just scroll up. That's funny.
Yeah, well, that's true, because My Money JA also has this wonderful feature that tells you when the next report is due for every company. But I use in the back example. So December 31st is when the third quarter would have ended for Fiscal. That would have been due February 14th. So between December 31st and February 14th, the directors, the insiders in the company are not allowed to buy, because they know what happened already. And if it's good, let's say they know that it was a stellar quarter, which it was, right? The profit was, what was that? 20.9 million compared to, sorry, 20, let me not say the wrong thing. The profit was 73 million compared to 20 million the year before. So if you know that information as a director, you would know that way ahead of everybody else, because you know how much the gas sales are, probably same day, end of day, immediately, because these systems are computerized. They spoke about that also. The law, to allow it to be fair, say until you tell everybody how much money you have made at the end of that quarter, you can't buy. So you'll notice that there's no insider trades for Fiscal, or shouldn't be, I should say, for Fiscal. I got it wrong actually. It's 14 days after the end of the quarter till you report. So for Fiscal's third quarter, the law would prevent them. The law would say that they can't trade in their shares, or the rules would say that they can't trade in their shares between January 15th and February 14th, right? So you'll notice that I think the last Fiscal trade, or between January 14th and 18th, is when this happened. Now, I don't work at JSC. I don't follow the rules. I'm just telling you how the rules go. If this don't follow it, so it go. But it could be that this trade was entered the 14th and was just on the queue or something, right? So I don't know all the details, but what I'm telling you is correct in terms of the rule. And then you notice that nothing happened between that date in January and February 14th. But then February 14th, they started to buy again, because that's when they put the report out. They put the report out February 9th. So they could have actually started to buy from February 9th, but the buys didn't actually start until February 14th, and they'll happen again. And when March 31st comes, well, not March 31st, we'll go 14 days again. That puts us to what, April, like 14, 15? They'll be able to buy up until that point, and then they'll have to stop until they report the full year numbers to us. So there is that blackout period put in there for the law to maintain the fairness for us.
Okay.
It's a different. I don't think it's a different rule for full year in terms of blackout. And so
they report at the end of May. They report at the end of May. because it's a 4-year report.
I mean, but it's still 2 weeks
so,
after the end
like,
report.
Yeah.
Till the report drops.
It seems quite fair for the most part. I think the only part where I was kind of like raising my eyebrows was when you were saying that it might be in the queue before and then on the day it just kind of hit. But for the most part, it seems fair.
Well,
it's like me and you. I tried to buy on the 10th. So I tried to buy on the 9th. So maybe better dates. I put in an order on the last day, and it never filled that same day.
But the order is still out there.
The order is still out there.
So what you're saying is it's not like there's a line or like, you know what I mean, like a ticketed position, like you're not like holding the line or holding a space and you're going to be first in line once it goes live kind of thing. It's just everybody, you're just holding a spot. And
no, man, the confusion you have there is around the how the market actually works. But come to grow and you'll get cleared up on that part. But what Dana is saying is correct. That it's like you put in the order, it's like you call Pizza Hut today and then take 3 days to deliver it. No, but the rules say that you couldn't call Pizza Hut after tomorrow. Like, I didn't call them tomorrow. I called them then. They just took long to deliver.
Okay, I got it.
There we go.
So then my final question, of course, Randy, I don't want you to like give away everything. As you said, you don't want to give away everything free. But what I'm asking is more like a high level.
Just ask. Don't worry about the intro. Ask.
Okay, so
let me say no.
So my question is around. So like I'm learning that if you miss the IPO, all is not lost, right? You can still get in. So
nothing is lost.
Yeah, you still can get in on that stock, right? For me, that's perfect.
Every single day after that point.
That's why the IPO to allow us to do that, to buy it after the IPO.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So then, my question is, like, what are some key determinants or markers at a high level that you would use to determine when to jump in? At a high level, right?
At a high level.
What do you call high level? High level, I'm very confused if you use it because it either means very complicated or not complicated.
She want to ask me about spiritual, but she don't want me to say I'm not an advisor. Here's my high level answer. If you see me buy a stock, it's because I believe that whatever value I put into it, I expect to get greater value out of it within the time that I want.
Yes,
that is my high level answer. That's so literally.
If I buy it at this price, I think within my timeline it will be more than this price.
Okay. All right.
I think I'll make money buying it.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So that is the high level answer. It's like, do you think it's gonna go up? All right, then jump in. All right.
Yep.
All right.
I think it's going to go down. I make a decision. Okay, it might not mean jump out. It might mean wait and buy more.
Buy
all
more.
kinds of things. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Depends on you, where your goals and everything around that.
Okay. All right. And I'll just stop there for tonight. Thank you.
No problem. See you soon.
But you know, people think that's a very funny one too. People buy a stock today, bro. It drops tomorrow. They still have money, nothing changed, and I'm afraid.
Brother.
Like I was buying at 20, but that 19 looked too 19 looked too cheap. Something must be happening. Yeah.
Fear, man. Message on WhatsApp and no, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah.
What's happening with this thing?
No, client, he knows what I'm talking about. But I call him. I talk to him today. And I call him the most fearful man in the market. Cause that panic. I'm new to it, so yeah, if I help him through it, but just the idea around, boy, it's good today, but tomorrow the price lower, and it's suddenly the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
It leads me to a lot of the things. I've been finding myself looking at a lot of the things that I probably said this sometime recently. Other things that Buffett said in the past that I never necessarily identified with at the moment, and I know I might realize exactly the position he was taking, you know, saying, or maybe a part of the position. I don't reach them levels of money there yet. But even earlier when I said, boy, I don't buy IPO. I wasn't saying that to say that because Buffett buys IPOs, I buy IPOs, but getting in, maybe sometime getting in and applying to the IPO might not be a big priority for me. I might say, boy, something going on during the whole listing thing, I can get something else elsewhere. And when it lists, I buy it at up to X price, something like that. So
yeah, I'm with you. And for me, it was just like surprise. It kind of surprised myself at how calm I was about, like, for this IPO being Jamaica Fiberglass, not really buying it.
Yeah,
like I'm okay not buying it. Yeah, because I'd mapped my strategy so well that I have all the ifs worked out, and I'm even though
it's
I'm
an
okay
opportunity.
not buying it. Yeah, if there's truly an opportunity there for me, I'll buy it.
Then
yeah. If I see the right opportunity, it lists at $1. Maybe I'll make somebody's day, and they'll be able to sell me it at $2, and then go, we see that I buy it at $2. Yeah, that's all right.
I always find that funny.
Yeah.
Price goes up, but people are stupid, man. Like, how? What would make you that stupid to buy at that price? If you really have to turn sideways and say, but bossy, if your strategy is to rely on idiots to buy a stock from you, then if anybody talks like that, I immediately say, you're not really making the money. So like it's not happening. If I don't believe you're making much money on this market, if every time somebody buys at something higher than it was yesterday, it's a point of stupidity. Like, you must be stupid to be buying prices higher. Like,
and that is a sort of thing that we hear all the time. It's a mentality of what I'm doing is the best thing, the right thing, and nobody else can have any other reason to do anything other than what I'm doing, and so they're dumb. So even when you're profiting and you're selling to somebody, you're kind of mentally looking down on, yeah, I'm gonna sell it as $5.
Yeah, got out. Hey, got out. I always find that one. Whenever nothing bad is happening, they talk about got out. Like, bro, like, what are you running from?
Yeah, and it's a mentality thing that we need to change. I say it all the time, and I'll continue to say it. The market becomes extremely easier when you start to accept that the other people in the market are not dumb. The people on the other side of the trade are not dumb. Who could have spent $17 million? I buy CPJ at $10. 2 months later, CPJ is at $20. I guess the idiot at $10 is now the idiot at
34.
It's
34 million.
34 million in a month, right? Because maybe they're not dumb, but you forget about it. We just need to stop thinking that other people are dumb. The market becomes a whole lot easier if you stop thinking that other people in the market are dumb. The market can never be wrong. The market is always right. I did say that I didn't say it, but I'll do it now. Since we have a lot of time between now and grow, this discount code, I think, ends at midnight, maybe. Or grow is tomorrow. The next sitting of grow, the last one for the month, is tomorrow at 10:30. So if you use the code lastminutebricks at www.everymickle.com, lastminutebricks, you get 5% off your grow cost. Right? I'm leaving that up on the YouTube for a moment. And if you want to know what the website is that you see me looking at, that has the wonderful stock data laid out so easily for you, so conveniently for you. That's mymoneyja.com. That actually has a discount code that's still running. It's been running since Valentine's Day, actually, and it's called Valentine's Bricks, and that gives you a 10% discount off a paid account here. The paid accounts make sense. Somebody else who was next. I think it was 876 Analyst. Yeah, 876 Analyst. How you doing? Evening.
Yeah, man. Evening,
boss.
Yeah, man. Before me even ask the question, I just want to say, no boy, man, them are doing the thing, like the forum.
Big up.
Respect,
Thank
boss,
you very much for that, sir. Respect.
And another question. Grow is a monthly thing?
Correct. I do it every month. I do 2 versions. There's the full one, which is the day where we go through it. There's a break in the day's hours. It lasts like today. Tomorrow is 10:30 in the morning. Goes till I think 6 or 7:30 in the evening. And really afterwards, I stay afterwards and I answer questions and I talk to people. And I kind of like this, but it's just with a group of us in the stream. But I do that every month. And there is a break. So I know it's long, but there's a break. And I probably start putting 2 breaks in. And I do a split version for the people who think that they can do one day. And I do that over 2 evenings. So if you miss it, there might be one next month. The only time I don't do it is when I know I need a break. And the truth is I need a break. But if anybody, again, wants to actually do it, there's a last-minute discount for it, grow. And the code is last-minute bricks. And I should point out, when you do the grow, you get a discount to speak with a licensed investment advisor, who is Danai Hall, the other gentleman you guys here are seeing on screen. And so yeah, it's a win-win. Now Danai is fully booked, right? Booked and busy, but the discount should last. So when you free up more.
May should be open soon. We are changing up some things. People have been asking about the changes, and yes, changes are coming. So
yeah, man, slow but steady, man. Slow but steady. Yeah, yo, at grow now, like I did split grow a couple Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. And I realized, it's like 2 or 3 girls now. The question always comes up. I have another question. Danai's booking is the review. They want me to tell you, say, Danai, you need to let some people in. And this girl, somebody's like, I'd be willing to pay more for weekends. Like, yeah, but he's probably willing to pay more for weekends, so the man can't work the day.
Bro, I am
so
tired.
Yeah, so if anybody cares about doing it, if you want to learn how to do the things that we're talking about, the analysis method I use, I can't promise you that you're going to become Warren Buffett, but if you want to, I'm gonna at least help put you on the path. And this is for anybody. It's not for finance people alone, although finance people tend to find the course very, very enlightening when they do it and pay attention to it. But it's for anybody. If you want to do it, it is designed to help people really understand the market, get started, and move from I know nothing at all to wow, I understand this thing and I can try a thing and I have a plan. Like I said, Duffy is a great example. I don't even know if she realized even just the shift in her thoughts from maybe the first time she came on Brick Talk to what she was saying just now. Just the basis on which, and I didn't actually doing it on the biggest points, but you're not doing it off feel anymore. No, it's as reading the prospectus and I saw this and there's a link there. Which I always love when I hear it. And that's like a nice early case. And I have other cases, like I said, if I was good at marketing, I'd tell you about the people that have become millionaires after doing grow. And there are quite a few hundred people have done grow now. So that's a lot of talking for the ads. What was your question, sir?
Yeah, man. So the Edifocal.
Sorry, I'll continue one more time, especially since you're going to mention Edifocal. Danai, you should give you don't want the stress, right? Well, I should do it for him anyway. dhalladvisor.com.
Well, it's going to be, you guys say you walk up into a wall. Right now, there are no bookings left. Bookings for me are closed currently. Again, before making some changes, I can explain around those changes. If people want that.
When it's ready.
But when it's ready, it'll be ready. Exactly. And you will know. I will be tweeting it out. The clients will know and everything. And the whole structure will be put out to everybody. Cool?
Yeah, man. Cool.
All right, sir. So I cut you like 3 or 4 times. So what was your question? I know it's an exciting one.
All right. So I was going through the prospectus for Edifocal, and I noticed one thing in particular. It kind of stood out to me. I never go through the entire thing, but this kind of I was wondering if you guys could enlighten something for me. The part that what I speak about, the ARPU, the average revenue per user. I seen total revenues, which it looked very good, because 2019 total revenues are like 26.8 million. In 2020 it's 102.6 million, which is ridiculous to know that in 1 year you're getting basically 4 times more revenue. In 2021, up to September 30, it was 107 million, which is 5 million more than the previous year, with still some more months to go. So still very good. Paid users, though, is where paid users and the ARPU is what really jump out at me, because in 2019 they had about 8,000 paid users.
Hold on. You know, let me tell you something, a little secret of the industry. Not the industry, of finance. Most people don't read the prospectus, right? And a huge reason why a lot of people don't read it is because they think it's boring or they think they can't understand it. They're wrong. But if you like this program that we do, and I know you've listened more than 1 week, you know that I make it a point to ensure that we keep everybody up to date and understanding what's going on, right? So I don't want to lose them. I think you just lose them a while ago with the whole ARPU and Ray. I suspect a lot of people just got lost. So what you're saying is that, one, I never, like you say, you never read the whole prospectus. Read the whole thing, brother. Go through the whole thing properly. Get a good idea of it. But second, you mentioned that you like the revenue. What that mean? Let's talk in some real terms.
In terms of I see in 2019 26 million, 2020 102 million, 4 times more revenue year over year. So you grow revenue 4 times year over year. Brilliant. The following year, which is up to September 2021, you still have a couple more months to go, and you still make 5 million more than the previous year, which you had already done 4 times more than the previous year. So from a revenue perspective, the company is clearly bringing in a lot of revenue. So I like that.
All right. You like that. Now, what does that say to you, having looked at that? And again, big up mymoneyja.com, which already has Edifocal at pre-IPO and Jamaica Fiberglass, JFP, but has Edifocal up there ready and waiting for people to jump in on it. What does that say to you, though? Those points you made to people. So you're saying you're seeing a heavy increase in the revenue, which is true.
Yeah. Okay, so,
but what does it mean to you? What does it say to you?
It's just a point. It just, to me, it just shows that they're increasing their revenue over the top line or bottom line. They're increasing that they're doing better business. I assume they're doing
I
better
can tell
business.
you really are the analysts. So talking, so like nobody says that stuff outside of finance. They make more money.
Go again? Sorry.
Them start bringing in more money. That's really
man.
They started to bring in more money.
So 2020 them bring in 4 times more money than them bring in 2019. Which is brilliant. 2021 even better because see there they say just pass.
All right.
Go scroll on a little more.
I don't know if you can see what's on screen now, but it's all there. So the revenue is there. You're right. So 2018 revenue was 9.2 million. 2020, you can see 2016 6.7 million. 17 8.8. 18 9.2. Little growth, upward. But 19 26.9 million. So them jump from 9.2 to 26.9 million in turn. Did the company send you?
No, man. Yes, man. No, man.
It's all right. I'm messing with you. So 26.9 million 2019 and 2020, 102.6 million. So obviously, big jump after 2018. 2019 and 2020 is a big. 2019 was a big jump. 2020 was an even bigger jump. So more money was coming in during that time, right? I just want everybody to stay with us. I don't want to lose somebody. I don't want nobody to think it's something they can't understand.
Yeah, man. I appreciate that too.
Right.
And so what they're not seeing as well is 2021 year to date, which is up to September, which is 107 million.
So 9 months.
2021 year to date.
Yeah.
So in 9 months, they're ahead.
Why wouldn't you even go one better? Because they told us what the preliminary numbers are. I guess they're not audited yet, so it's not done, but they told us the preliminary numbers for the entire year. Right? So, but in the 9 months, the revenue was 107.6 million Jamaican. So in 9 months, their revenue was bigger than the entire 12 months of 2020.
Awesome.
All right.
So from there now, so as we said, them talking about the average revenue per user. So in essence, as you say, you want to break it down for everybody, so we don't lose nobody. So based on how much revenue each user that they have on their platform bringing in each year, they
So And it's also on screen. So 7,942 users in 2019, 48.9 thousand users in 2020, and up to September 30, 2021, 16.6 thousand users, 16,601 users. So smaller user count up to September 30th, but much larger revenue. So if you divide the revenue by the amount of users, the average revenue per user is huge. 2,000 in 2020, but 6,481 in the first 9 months of 2021.
All right.
So everybody on track, on page now. You've set it up completely. What is the question?
I'd love to understand if so. As I said, I never go through the entire thing. And you're saying it like that. I get that. I should have really go through it, but boy.
But I have, so it's okay.
Yeah, perfect. So I want you help me understand now what the company do differently to manage to increase ARPU that we're seeing there 3 times more for 2021.
Oh, you don't work there, right?
No. But you went through the prospectus, and that is something that is a red flag to me. In that number of paid users dropped 66% from 2020 to 2021.
Mm-hmm.
But ARPU increased 3 times.
What could cause that?
So to me, it is so there are various things that could cause that.
Like what?
And an average revenue per user for just looking at it can be misleading as well. In that
I suspect it is.
Because average.
I should point out that people pay me at grower to go through. It's the last grower, like I said, split grower. And if you guys saw the post where they between part 1 and part 2, them change what company they're voting. And so at grower, I also teach a method, my method of analyzing companies, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also, it's not just teaching theory, it's practical. So I allow everybody to vote on which stock you want us to actually practice this on. And it's pretty good, I think. And they switched to Edifocal because it had come out that day, the prospectus. And I say all that to say, I say all that to say that you're not asking me to do what these people paid money for. You're asking me to do it for free online to you. Have you done Grow yet? I know you haven't because you know how to start approaching this. Have you done Grow yet?
No, I haven't done it yet.
Jaja, you're planning, if Edifocal numbers look good to you after you finally read it, you're planning to maybe apply?
For Edifocal?
In the IPO, yeah.
Yeah, if I finish going through it and like it, I would apply.
About how much you would put in there? You don't have to tell me the exact number, but like a ballpark figure.
Nothing big. Possibly 30-40K.
Okay, so spend some money and come to Grow and learn this thing now instead of trying to get it today for free.
So that is the thing, you know. I honestly, you won't even know. Say Grow at the dip on my plan for tomorrow, you know. But
yeah, man.
Get a curveball, and I really don't want. If I spend the money and I come, I don't want nothing else coming out of the way.
I get you. I mean, if you pay for it and can't attend, you email me and tell me. I mean, I'd understand if you haven't actually shown up and done it. I'd understand. I'll put it to the next one. Anyway, I say all that to say, don't expect me to go deep into this thing as an analysis with you. But
all right.
What I will say to you is this. You are obviously, I like that it jumped out to you immediately. I like that it immediately jumped out to you that, okay, they have much lower paid user count, but the revenue is higher. Because that's all the average revenue per user is. So exactly. This is, it's just literally the full revenue as we saw.
Divided by the number.
Divided by the number of people who use their platform. So that would indicate that they're either charging people more or
they charge people less.
Right? You can't say they charge people less. Yeah.
In 2020, they charge people.
Yeah.
They got more volume and charge less.
Yeah.
And a couple ways I could have. By the way, I'm guessing at a lot of the conversation because the way it's shipping out, bro. I don't think it's your thing. I don't think it's mine because I'm hearing everybody else. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah.
Word, that's word. Well, if people can't
but
hear
everybody
me,
else is hearing you. So it's a me alone thing. So
damn. You need a new phone, brother.
I'm hearing the analyst quite fine. So I don't know.
Oh, that is weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's very weird.
So to the analyst, here's what I'd say to you. What Edifocal does to make money? You know how they make money?
Well, it's pretty much as an online school.
Is it?
Based on what it seems, them have the PEP plot. Them have the PEP. It's one of the. It seems to be one of the big focus. I see them have how much parents them work with and thing, and them have a B2C business arm of the business where them really focus on, and them plan to grow the B2B aspect of the business.
The B2B, what's the B2B aspect of the business?
The business to business, where it seems like the plan to start getting companies as
Plan
customers.
to start?
No, based on, well, as I said, possible sleep on my kind of got through it last night still. So it
Where
may
you
be
like
that
your money? You sleep on your own money? What are doing mine?
Tell us it. Rough day. But I didn't really want to go through it, so I started going through it.
So what I'll say is that this indicates that they're likely making greater revenue from, obviously can't be the same thing they're doing the year before, because that would indicate that they're charging significantly more, which I don't think they are. But if you actually read the prospectus, you'll see them say that they started Edifocal business, I think late 2020. And they're not planning to. They have done a few things, including strong contracts with the government, contracts with the transport authority. I see a transport authority contract being mentioned in there that has a date running. It's current because I believe the end date of it is the end date of it is 2024. So not this year, not next year, but the year after that, the end of the year after that. And it's been running since late 2019. And it's to provide a electronic training platform for the Transport Authority and BCIC, right? So it's obvious that they are doing more than just PEP. And that would explain, I think it would explain them then having more revenue on a lower user count, because you are actually you're charging more because you're charging something else, right? Well, you might charge the kids or the parents of the kids X amount for them to the PEP prep. You're not charging Transport Authority PEP prep money. You're charging Transport Authority the money that you need to charge them to train taxi drivers and public passenger vehicle drivers. That's a completely different thing. You really want to read this prospectus because there's a lot hidden in it that I think a lot of people aren't seeing. And from the things I've heard from a few places, and I thought it'd be obvious, but it's not. And the truth is, I'm not really pushing for it to be too obvious to too many people, because I don't really want too much competition in the market when I'm buying. So I'm okay with people thinking otherwise, right? But just to answer your direct question here, this looks to me like an increase in business from somewhere other than just the typical PEP prep. And you actually touched on it. I mean, they make it very clear that they've separated the business into two divisions. Learn, which is our own educational content. That's the gamification stuff for kids in school doing PEP, right? And then there's Edifocal business, which is newer. And it is geared towards public and private sector organizations. And I assure you that out of the two who have the most money, public and private sector organizations have a lot more money than the parents of kids doing PEP. And we see how good they manage to do during just feeding mostly to the people doing PEP. They also, if you look at PEP, that also have a breakdown of itself that can go a little further. They have the general PEP prep. Then if you go deeper into it, they talk about launching an after school thing, an extra lesson program, and then they launch an entire school, a complete school. If you check the actual people in the company. You'll notice this lady here, Christopher Hernandez, on staff. She's a director, she's a CEO, she's principal. She's principal of the Edifocal Academy.
When he said it's like a school, and I was like, I was waiting on him to take it back, because that's what I hear. I hear Edifocal is a school, and then I hear it's not an actual school, but here we are with a school.
It is an actual school, plus it's extra lessons for other things, plus it is linked towards helping public and private sector organizations with teaching. And then there's a lot more deeper you do it. Really, you should do grow. You should really consider doing grow. And I suspect that the next grow, which is tomorrow morning, I suspect that they're going to pick Edifocal also. And yes, I'm more prepared. I'm more prepared for that conversation, and just to carry people through how you analyze a company, the method that I use to analyze a company, and how I think it works best.
You still the IPO growth?
Say that again, did I?
You still the IPO growth?
I haven't done one in a while. But like if I have a grow and a prospector just come out and talk about it. So like I think the one before, did we talk about JFP, or that was just with the group or something?
You talk about Spurtree in the last in January?
I think I spoke about Spurtree. At this point, it blends together. But but I did talk about
the grow in mind.
I did talk about Edifocal at split goal, and we did go through that one. And I suspect I'll do it again tomorrow and take a whole lot of questions. We went until late. Because even after it was done and I was just talking to the people, I think people stopped asking me questions at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I call it a night. I'm not promising you guys that I'm doing that. I'm not doing that tomorrow, but we went into it and we had a good conversation. I hope the feedback I've gotten so far has been good. So I hope I more than answered your questions, Sir Constantine.
Yeah, man. I think you clear up something for me. You point out something which obviously I wouldn't have seen because I never went through the entire prospectus.
Read the prospectus. See here? Don't just listen to what we say. Read the prospectus. That's a mistake that people make in the industry. Don't make that mistake. Don't just go off of what people say. And if him sound sensible, I trust him. Trust but verify. Read the prospectus. Trust me, it's worth reading. If you're planning to put money in there, it's worth reading.
I agree.
So that was the only question, or you had another one?
No, man, that was really it. As I said, that jump out at me, I would say, or just discuss it if you're allowed.
Okay, well, I'm happy that you got it out, and I'm sure you're not the only one who might have had those questions. I see the next person who's been waiting forever, Khalil King. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions at all, don't be afraid to join. Press the hands up button. Request and a speaking request, whatever. It doesn't have to be a technical question. It can be something simple. I'm not going on until 2 o'clock in the morning tonight. I can tell you that. So if you're thinking, boy, I don't know if I should ask. Ask. Yeah, Khalil.
All right. So yeah, good night.
Night, Khalil. What's up?
Evening.
Yeah, man. I start with me and talk about what I'm asking about. Well, I'm really asking about me. Talk about it. Main entertainment group.
Main event.
Yeah, main event. I always mix it up.
What about
the government are loosening the restrictions them on COVID and all of that. What me really I look on to move the share price, like really move it, is like them announcing a big concert. But we know say most likely them are gonna sponsor it. I see people.
So like, that's one of them questions they will answer before them ask.
No. Let me ask a question then.
No, man. So
no. So I say we know how to ask a question. It sounds like you asked a question, but what you say?
Oh.
So what I say?
I just say that me really look on at the start.
And
also separate too with the inflation and the fact that them say them in a no rush to get rid of the temporary factory that they rented out. They can provide more to the market, especially in the times of the war and stuff. However, but the price, the price for the past about 3 years been going down.
What that?
Separate, I think.
Really?
Talking about.
So we make some money from separate in 2020. Enough money too.
Yeah, I don't know if the price. I mean, the price has moved up and down.
Yeah.
From 2015 up and down. That's another thing about my money, JA. You can see more than just the last 12 months of stock and trading data. For the people who might miss being able to see older stock data, I know a lot of you miss that. A lot of the scrapers can't scrape. You don't have to scrape. Come check out my money, JA. But Khalil, have you done Grow?
Yeah.
All right. You know how much emphasis I put on understanding the money of a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another thing that comes from understanding that money is you have to understand the impact of it. Separate, massive group. Massive group.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Last year, 2021, 2.1 billion in profit, 43 billion in revenue. It takes a whole lot to move Separate. I look, one factory is unlikely to do it. It takes some major things to move Separate just as a result of how massive they are. I'm not saying that what you say can't happen. I'm not saying that you're right or wrong. But because you know how I view these things from Grow.
Probably a couple acquisitions or a couple dividend. Nice dividend.
Separate bought Facey and
Facey consumer.
Yeah,
big money for them.
Big money for them. For the market.
I don't know where you going. Until they got rid of sugar.
Yeah, it's so funny how they did that back then. That's pre-APO days.
It's funny, right?
Yeah, and that's pre-APO days, and it was a big deal. At least I remember talking and tweeting about it.
Well, the thing is,
the dilution.
We were already diluted, but we were diluted in a nice way because we got a new company at a nice price, and then we get some discount shares. So we have some extra shares. You want them?
To make up for it, and they look at the conversation from the company at that time to justify the dilution and talking in terms of the future profit and how quickly and the general share price. I don't think anything has gone like that again. No, we have APOs and they even bother them just boxing in face of the APO.
Yep.
Yeah. I do not like APOs and you shouldn't like them either. Anybody listening, you should not like them either. But anyway, that's another topic for another time. Khalil, Separate, not saying that you're wrong, like we said, and you mentioned war. Separate is in the grains business, I think wheat business. So they may very
and Jamaica farmers, they said that they expected increased prices, and this and when me and that talk last week, like if they already have it in stock, them can already make an extra profit on the inventory that they already have.
So like you raise prices, so you buy something at the old prices that have profit when you sell it normally, but you also raise prices, so you have an increase in margin.
Yeah,
that's a possibility. But again, how that might just impact one part of
there's a lot of nuance around that too.
Yeah, because it might not work that way quite, right? They might be also absorbing a lot of costs.
Yep. And when stock done, then you do have to buy more. We don't know you have to check how much stock. It's a lot of things. Especially something that big, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah. Separate.
I think my profitable points for Separate it's when something great will affect the general business. Like so you can say, I think I'm talking rubbish. When something great affects a good enough amount of the business, as Randy said, it takes a good amount more money for Separate to move. So we're bringing that good amount more money. What needs to happen around that? Yeah. What's happening for Separate in that sphere? That would say, all right, cool. If we raise the prices on all the wheat products, how much wheat products themselves, or how much money that actually brings to them, what kind of impact you say expecting from that price raise and all of that. That's a lot of things to go down. And then will that everything there be enough?
For real.
Yeah. It's like saying It's like saying thing there. Fast-rich, their exports previously were very, very small. And then, like, to the point where they really weren't even talking about it. And then one day, them tell you, say, double. Are you really excited for that? Like, we're supposed to tell you, so we make 10 grand last year, and we double it this year. We're only talking about 100% increase because in exports. I 20 grand, they make in $1 million company, like $1 billion company. I'm not saying that's the amount. I'm just for context sake, what's it actually impacting these companies? Get me?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
So, all right. Move on to the main event.
Hold on. What does that make you think now about separate? Because I want to understand what after all we just said. What
do
it
you mean
for you?
What? Repeat the question.
Like I said, okay, I get it, separate. But like, what do you do with that information?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't gonna buy it, It's just that, that you kind of clear up more things. I mean, like, we really need to move it, because I think that the
But I
manufacturer.
haven't. It's important that you know that I haven't. What I'm clearing up for you is that you need to go and understand the parts of separate and what actually makes it up, and the things that you're expecting, if they impact it, how much are they? What parts of it is it going to impact, and how much is that impact going to be on the overall company? That's the real analysis. That's what I'm saying. You should not, because I haven't actually cleared it up for you. If I were to clear it up, like, you'd have to pay me for that stuff. I haven't done that stuff for the people in a law in years. You'd have to, yeah. It's when I clear it up, it's cleared up because I show you. I do what I'm telling you to do, but I know you want to learn to do it on your own. I know you're doing it on your own, so you should look on it that way. You should be doing that. Not just I clear it up. I'm really scared of that stuff when I hear it now. But I know you mentioned the other one, main event.
Yeah, with the COVID, even though nobody now really follow that protocol, but the government keep going back to the COVID curfew. That you expect like one big, concert or something like that could really move the share price up to $8.
The share price, you've done grow. You know my thoughts on what most share prices, and it's definitely not concerts.
No, but people move it like, but like if the people like.
So tell me, what kind of concert would this be? It'd have to be a hell of a concert. Is a concert enough to be?
That's why they're saying, like, a really big one, like they would have planned for this year.
All right, and then what kind of impact would that have on main event numbers?
Based on last year?
No, just you have to understand the company. Like, how big does this concert have to be? Okay, what kind of money does main event need to make from a concert?
I never really do the move up on it, I just putting it out there. I wasn't like, I'm not trying to buy.
No, man, if you really care about it, you have to do it.
Yeah. I have my companies that I already have money in. It's just that what dip on my mind now. I don't see a happen.
Go ahead.
Yeah, another question. What's happening with ECL with the report? Isn't they should release the report them by now? They said and it still not reach it.
I think people forget we have the same information as you. So the delays that they've been saying over and over, that's what's going on with ECL. They say I think they gave an update again recently, like very, very recently.
I think today or yesterday.
Yeah, man. Where is it?
Continued delay in submitting the unaudited financials. They projected that they'd have been done by February 18.
Yeah, and that the delays
are
the
28th now.
My timeline.
So that again?
28th now.
No, man. I heard you then. Sorry, I meant Khalil.
Oh, I said that the delay is showing off my timeline from.
So sorry, but Khalil, what was the question?
Oh, you guys like like I think like they're gonna halt the stock soon. I think it happened one time with I'm not sure what the company is, but the stock couldn't trade because of the report didn't release.
Oh, a couple companies, SSLVC at one point was that, yeah. Toki. Well, Toki was reports too. The JC has trading rules and not trading rules, but JC has rules not just for people who are buying and selling stocks, but also for especially for companies that are listed on the JC. And I think I don't know if I mean they've been putting out delay notices, so maybe the delay notice is
maybe the delay notice is just so we could come for
allows them to remain.
So yeah.
Still trading also.
What's the plan, Khalil? You're in a buy
What's the
now.
plan?
Yeah, I think that your timeline is being thrown off. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, I reduce the position.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your goal, Khalil?
The goal for ECL?
Yeah.
No, for your money. How does ECL factor into your goal? I prefer hearing that one.
Okay, so by September I wanted at least 45%.
Percentage. Okay, 45% by September. That's what you said? I heard correctly?
And what kind of movement were you looking for up to that 45 out of ECL?
A movement from I got in at look at my portfolio. So I kept buying. I was buying from last year, from October. Buying from about October, about November, about January this year, and some more January. And then since I realized that the report is not coming out, as reduce the position, so I sell from 20th of January. I sell up till now.
What's the remind me? When do you say you want to make it 45%? September. Okay. Well, you reduce it early, you jump over, you know, like the risk.
No, because I expected that the report to come out by then, and then it was the tourism boom at that time with Dolphin Cove and CPJ. So I was looking at three of the stocks them, so Dolphin Cove, CPJ, and ECL. So I was looking forward to the report to push the stock price and people to look at it. But however, nobody was looking at it. They pay attention to Dolphin Cove and CPJ.
But that's not true because the stock traded. It's a big trade.
It traded, but it didn't trade it. It didn't trade like CPJ and Dolphin Cove. Didn't have the same
every stock not going to trade the same way. And ECL, nobody has any understanding of nobody has any insight as to what's happening in there because they haven't given us a report in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're kind of flying a little blind with this one.
Yeah, that's why I massively, because I was buying from last year, and I was buying heavily from last year, and then continuously reporting that the delay, so I just come out of it massively. But I was just gonna ask you, like after what certain time, or the time pass, the stop stock, the JAC step in and say you need to report for the company now before they stop trading.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
I don't know off the top of my head, but you can check JC's rules. I don't remember off the top of my head, but I know that is something that can happen. And I also know that sorry, go ahead, Danai.
I said I missed the question. I've been talking to myself on mute.
Oh, he was just asking how long before the non-trading of a stock can you get? And I see David pop up, so you know David definitely know the answer. You know. Hold on, David. How you doing? How you doing,
or
David?
That is request. Not hearing you.
My moment. David, how you doing? What's up? David? I guess David microphone not working. All right. I just added him as a speaker, but he keeps showing him coming back in. Yeah. I don't know what's happening. But all right, Dale, in the meantime. Yes, David, how are you doing? What's up?
I'm good. So I was saying after 45 days, after the expected submission date of your quarterly financials, if you don't submit it by then, the JSE can suspend you.
So once you miss the date, you can be suspended?
So you're supposed to report your quarterly results within 45 days at the end of the quarter. And if you don't submit within 45 days of that deadline, you can be suspended by the JSE.
Okay, 45 days of the initial 45 days. Okay, I get
which
you.
Which is Monday.
Which would be Monday for ECL.
Yes.
All right, but they have also pointed out
that's 28th, yeah.
The 28th.
which is why we expect to be releasing on the 28th.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they also just bundle it with their third quarter results early.
Oh yeah, I expect it to be early, you know?
Yeah, you know it go. Because
let me say this nicely. I was going pretty it up on something there, you know, because, you know, to show good measure, you're late on the last one you want to show, you know? You come late last week, say you want to come early this week, you know, something like that.
The third quarter ends on Monday, actually.
All right?
The third quarter ends on Monday, February 28th.
Interesting. Who knew?
Yeah, well, my money JA knew because it's right here for us. But yeah, that's why I say I wouldn't be surprised if they put it out early, the third quarter. And I also wouldn't be surprised if the second quarter results aren't necessarily the greatest.
I wouldn't be surprised either. I mean, let me talk. Cool. What you call it? You can check the tourism analytics, look at the quarter that was the quarter they're reporting on, and
September to November.
Yeah, look at the flights for that. And then compare to the flights for the quarter right before the first quarter. And I was looking at the first quarter results and I say, if they had this level of business, this level of profit, this level of revenue, this level of profit for the whole year, I would say they're fairly valid at the current prices, right?
And they probably have some heavy expenses during that time because they're expanding. Yeah, we'll see what the report looks like because they're
yeah, sure.
Yeah, it could go anywhere. It's one to watch. Yeah.
Facts.
Thank you very much for that, David. Dale?
Yeah, man. Big up, David.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I was about to nod off, sorry. Randy, I'm not hearing you too clearly. Dana is coming through a lot more clearly. I don't know how I'm sounding to everybody. I don't know if it's my connection.
Sound fine.
Okay.
Sounds clear to me. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I've been listening to everybody. I made a comment using the Brick Talk hashtag about Separate. Separate. I agree with what Randy said. Separate is huge. If I was to categorize Separate, I'd put Separate in the same category as probably as probably a Wisink or probably a little below Grace Kennedy, not very far below, but probably in that category. The amount of companies that they have is phenomenal. Surge Island, they do the digital business, the phone cards and phones.
With Facey, correct?
They compete against flour mills because they do their own branded flour. They're into cooking oil. I remember years ago, probably 10, 15 years ago, some Colombians came to Jamaica and set up an vegetable oil processing operation in Jamaica, and eventually they had to sell out to Seprod, because at that time Seprod decided that nobody would come in and undersell them. So it's a huge company. It's the connection with Mawson also. There are linkages with Mawson, and while a lot of people don't talk
from that related parties with Mawson, yeah.
Right, because Facey actually was owned by Mawson, and they had the transactions.
And so it's separate. Yeah.
Right. So
it used to be owned and controlled by the government. Now it's owned, and it's still heavily owned by the government. But I believe the Fiscal family controls it.
Yeah.
But tell us the point that you wanted there.
Yeah. So I agree with you. I mean, for Seprod to not do well, it would have to be something major happening in the market. Right now, I'm looking at all the trading companies, and I'm wondering how the logistics situation currently might affect them over the next couple of quarters. Because looking at trade coming into Jamaica, from my own view of the market, I'm in that industry, and the delays for goods coming into Jamaica is crazy. You have orders that have gone out internationally 6, 7 months, 8 months, and the containers are just coming in. So all these companies will be affected: the Grace Kennedys, the Wisinkos, the Massey Group, and Seprod, and all their associated companies, Industrial Sales, Facey, all of them. So with the outbreak of war now in Europe, I'm wondering how much pressure that will also put on the whole logistic chain. A lot of products come out of Europe, France and Spain. A lot of products come from the Far East, and even the Middle East.
Again, I'll say like I said earlier, and I hear Dana say it too. It's just Russia and Ukraine. There are implications, but let's not talk like we're talking like there's subs bombing ships on the way to this side of the world. We can still get stuff from France.
Yeah, and I think though what we have to look at is the linkages. Ukraine is one of the largest companies in Europe, and what Ukraine produces. Ukraine has vast tracts of Arab land. They also contribute a lot of products, rare earth minerals, minerals for battery production and stuff like that. So
Ukraine everybody say that, but
yeah.
Last year it was China produces the most rare earth metals in the world, I believe. And China is still here. We're still good. Nobody's at war with China.
I can tell you, I mean, trade coming out of China is problematic at the moment.
It is, which is one of the things that made fiberglass possibly attractive, because of that same logistics tie-up that you mentioned. Yeah.
And I won't get into brand names or anything, but brand name products on the market that we take for granted, that we pick up, an afterthought, and we pick it up. I see prices coming in at 30-35% more because of what is happening now. It's going to be a very interesting.
Is going to be up. Separate profit is going to be up in 2 quarters at least, and that's what you're saying.
No, I think what we'll also have to look at is the price elasticity or inelasticity in the market. How
in other
much
words, what can people afford?
Right. What can people afford to absorb in terms of price increases before they start to say, hey, this might not be a necessary item. That's the concern I have looking at distribution market. Yeah, so
which then
that is something
which then likely means people going back to basic goods, right? Because we do still have to eat, we do still have to consume. So those who sell basic goods, like Seprod, will still be at a certain level. And there's a level of base consumption that we can never get away from, right? We're not going to stop eating rice, we're not going to stop eating chicken, but the flour can't stop need that sort of thing, right?
But basic items, I'll tell you, when you look at contribution to profitability in the company, basic commodities don't contribute a lot.
What really
branded products, right? Branded products are the products. So when you look at the flour and the rice, I mean, you're lucky if you make 10% on flour, 15% on flour. Rice is worse. You know, if you're lucky, you make 8% on rice, distributed bulk rice. Packaged rice, you probably make more money. But the items that really generate, you know, profit that will show up in your bottom line are branded items. So branded items that are manufactured in South America, branded items out of France, Spain, wherever, Turkey, India, China, a lot of products come out of China. And you're going to see big price increases on those. But the original question I wanted to ask when I touched the speaker request probably about an hour ago was
sorry about
I wanted to ask you guys, for all the listeners, I mean, I'm sure they'd be interested in knowing how much importance do you put on the associated directors in the companies. When you see the notices come out about directors purchasing stock in their own companies or selling stock, how great a factor does that impact in your analysis when you're looking at the company and price decreases, whether to purchase, whether to hold, or whether to sell? Do you factor in what the directors are buying in your calculator? How important do you think that is?
You said two things. Is it that the linkages between directors or directors buying and selling? Which one?
Is it connected parties or connected party trading?
Yeah,
what's the question?
Connected party trading. Every now and then the stock exchange releases something and said that will say a connected
Trading
party in the company.
Yes.
Yeah, purchased 1.5 million shares or something like that. Because I'll tell you, in a company, I heard a conversation earlier about insider trading. I'm gonna download and read the laws properly on insider trading. But I can tell you, when you're in the industry, if you're well seasoned in the industry, you can tell from very early if you're in a company how it's going to do for the quarter. As you said earlier, everything is computerized, so you have the revenues at your fingertip, you have the expenses at your fingertip, and everything. You know, so you likely can tell from the first quarter, the first month in the quarter, how the quarter is going to turn out based on that first month. Unless you have something.
And I can tell you my own experience. I used to work for a listed company. When the last day of the quarter done, you know how the quarter has ended.
You probably do.
Yeah, you do.
We calculate every single day, so you know exactly how much you've made. Which is why the law says you, at that point, once a quarter is done, you cannot buy or sell. Well, not the once a quarter is done. 2 weeks after the quarter is done, you cannot buy or sell until you've released the reports. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. How much it's a
material. Yeah, sorry, go ahead, Danai.
Yeah, you say how much importance we place on directors buying or selling. It's a lot. It's not the be all end all. I'll never buy because these guys are buying. I don't know their goals. I don't know their timelines. I'm not buying for the same reasons they're buying. I try to use that, and try as best as I can to figure out and to see maybe it's extraordinary, maybe something is going on. Very often it's nothing really because I'm just buying shares. So yeah, it's a follow-up point very often.
Yeah.
If
Well,
anything, sometimes it be a signal, but it's a case by case thing. But more I look at the company look good, and I know that the directors are also buyers consistently. And it's a nice point because I know that I'm not the only one willing to buy with that expectation in mind, that kind of thing. Or maybe maybe your sell point is a point you know that director will be fine buying it. Because I'm here for 1 year, but he's here for 10. So he might well be buying my shares if they go up to a certain price because he's very fine buying for that 10-year journey ahead.
Yeah,
so it depends. It's case by
case. Yeah, really case by case. To bring it back to what that young lady said earlier when she was looking at stuff and it helped her to feel more confident in her decision. If you had asked this earlier for Fiscal, I would do something that I know I don't think I've ever done it publicly. But there's things behind Fiscal that I think could happen and that I expect I wouldn't be surprised if they happen. I actually went through it at the last grow a couple of days ago and they heard because I explained it to them. And those points, the directors buying complement my expectation of those points, right? But I don't know for sure. It's just another dot helping you to feel good about it. And in another case, it might be another dot confirming something else. I remember laughing with Danai, I think, some time ago, not recently, maybe 2 years ago. It was before the pandemic. It was before Cygnus did their IPO, I believe. And a director had sold. We were wondering if they're going to raise and how they're going to raise. And a director sold there. Yeah, a director sold April 16, 2020. Well, he sold shares on April 14, 2020. And that was at the time we were wondering about something else, and you was concerned. You think it might be an IPO or a rights issue, and you know that you lose a lot of well, we won't make this an IPO conversation, but like I said, if I hear IPO, I sell immediately. I don't wait for IPO. I'm not doing that. Because I'm going to be diluted, and I'm not I'm not there for that. And if I hear right issue, I buy. So we don't know at that point which one they're going to do. Remember, the IPO would have been here April 9, 2020, I think. Or they're looking for 2019. They're looking for board approval to raise blah blah blah. So we weren't sure of what it was yet, and then the notice came out that the director had sold. The director had sold around that time, and I don't know if maybe I hadn't seen the news in the right order, but yeah, to me, him selling before, I'm like, no, I don't know if that has anything at all to do with why the director sold, right? But this is me, an external party, looking on and making an assumption. And to me, it said, you know what? I bet them going to come in an IPO. So when I saw later on Cygnus IPO, I was like, oh, well, I knew. And I would have jumped out also on that. Other times, like with Fiscal, I see the directors buying. And that is, to me, a point of confidence. But the truth is, I also don't know why the director's buying. I don't know any of them to ask them why they're actually buying. I don't even know which one exactly buying. Which one or one's buying. Well, you can count them up in the top 10, but yeah. So every single case is different. So I look at it, it's a dot, but it could be a good dot one day and a bad dot another day. There's no one size fits all answer.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it important for the listeners to I really asked the question to get some clarification. Your opinion mirrors my own. Yes, it might give you an indication, but it's a case by case basis. And as you've always said, there's not just one factor that will determine whether the price will go up or go down. But I just wanted to throw that one out there. I actually came into the conversation when the young lady had asked a question about insider trading. So I started thinking along that line. Right. Yeah. But I'm gonna have to listen back to the recording, Randy, because your audio is a little scratchy from me listening in. So when you load the show, I came in early, so I'll probably listen to it during the course of the day tomorrow. From the beginning.
Problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
But
I hope you enjoy it. It will be available once the stream is done. So you can just click the link and it'll be available there for you to listen to right after. Or if you want, you can check the YouTube. I've been leaving those up, so that should also be good.
Yeah, what I'll probably do tomorrow is I'm traveling, so I'll probably just start it and plug it into the radio and listen to it while I'm driving. So yeah.
All right. Well, safe trip, sir. And if you need gas, top up at Fiscal.
I get my gas from elsewhere, so I keep it within the company.
Okay, sir. Well, I hope whatever that comes.
So although I don't,
soon.
you
get very quiet on that one. Thank you. That is something that I wanted to hear. That's a dot.
Yeah, one or two listeners on this podcast will know where I work. But I'll buy the Fiscal stock, but I get my gas elsewhere.
All right. Well, if you don't want to support your company or you support another company, that's cool. All right. Thank you very much. And I guess since nobody else is sending, I'll do the last one for the night. And it's
all right.
Tavares.
Good night. Mm-hmm.
No problem. Tavares Donaldson. Night, Tavares. How you doing?
What's going on, Randy?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Don't
get to the last person on for the night.
Sir, what's up, boss?
I'm gonna. Boy, say I'm not really pertaining to the stock still, but I pertaining to grow. I kind of have a little thing about. I kind of hear something, and what do you want basically talk about grow? I realize a couple people will tune into the thing, and I know probably most of them not do grow, but for the people who really consider for do it and thing, my advice as somebody that have done grow is for really they're supposed to be planning ahead and definitely going to grow with an open mind and make sure so them listen to everything keenly. If them can take notes, them take the notes. If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask. Because the reason why I say it is because when I did grow, I kind of listen and I pay attention and go ahead and, to be honest, it shed a total new light. And one of the main thing with grow is that a lot of the times I hear you talking alongside with Danai and I can hear the reserve. You get to me, I say? I can hear the reserve in your speech and stuff like that. And if somebody want to get basically more information on how to actually invest in stocks yourself and do it the way where Brickman Randy do it, you have to just go to grow with an open mind, listen keenly, and take your notes. You see, because me didn't know me slow, I make sure I sign up for the Grow Grad group. I mean, these are just different. I mean, I learn a lot of things from there. And when I feel lazy, I just know say I go link Danai. I link him already. Him don't tell me what to do. So I just go and wait on that. But I mean, the best way to do it is really learn to do it yourself and apply it alongside with what Danai show you. So the main thing I try to put out there is that if you're going to do grow, go with an open mind, listen keenly. Any question at all you have, no cure you think it might stupid or foolish to you. By the time you bring up that question, the way you run there, go lay it out to you, you can't go believe say your stupid question has grown to something, like that.
And oftentimes, well, as you'll know, because you've done grow, I truly say that I don't believe there's any stupid questions, and I make it very clear there. And you're right.
And it's like, by the time you say it, it's like it go down. It's like people still not care. Them just still afraid. And it's like it no matter how many times you say it. You get me?
You kind of have to show people, and you did touch a good point that you realize now where.
Yeah, because to be honest with you,
And if you
Yes.
do grow, you don't get the difference. So you think like what you're hearing here, I am holding back a lot. That grow, I
Of course, I
truly,
definitely hear that.
yeah. But you
So
don't
by the
know
time
until
you
you
hear
do
go
it.
to the
So
point, it's like you go when one point touch and it's like you really want to go further with it, you just do like yeah. Anytime you hear that, me I say all right, cool, compression kick in, you know. Anytime you hear that, me I say all right, cool, compression kick in. The boss just as you say, you can't give information free for what people
and we
actually
have
pay for. Simple, and that is the thing. If you're looking at the Grow Grads group, I actually write it in there earlier, and I say, yo, send him a bill. Because the man asks you about Fiscal, and it's like certain things where I say, and I go with it. If that person actually listen and add on to, and try to do extra research on the information that you have given, he would have realized how much you actually give away for free since earlier. Not pertaining to say buy Fiscal, but is how you look at Fiscal and the information that you've given, it can be applied to other stocks. You get
the
me?
method.
Yes.
The method. And the truth is, first of all, thank you for the free ad.
It's not really that still. You see the thing about it still, a Jerry really, get me for start invest, and the way how him do it and the way him bring me in at the thing, brother. The man basically say, yo, see some way for make a bag of money, and him not charge me, no do nothing. Him say, yo, here we do. Link Randy for whatever, link this. It really makes sense. Him bring me in at the thing, and all right, and there is no cost to it. And if you come on to the space and talk things to make people listen as something with me do. You get me? I have started investing December I start this year, right? I'm not afraid for that. I make almost 200,000 pounds per tree. I know we like to talk percentage, but new investors don't really understand the percentage thing. You get me? I say? They more to understand the cash. You get me? I mean, that's not a bag of money, but I wanted to come out of Spurtree to go into something else. You know the worst thing? When you do grow and you list to grow, I call it the process. That's what I call it, the grow way, and the way how you teach it, I call it the process. I made one mistake of going against the process, and it cost me 270,000. That is what I lost because I didn't trust the process. Me run going or something, me not do what me never apply when me learn and I grow, and that caused me to lose money. And when me really sit down and look at it, I say, watch this plain as day, and how me approach it wasn't right. That is not what I have learned in grow, and then now I go against that and it costs me money. You get me? I say?
To be fair, you also learn how to recover from that if you
need to. Exactly. I put it aside, learn from a mistake. I mean, it still bother me, but not that much. As a matter of fact, I'm more laugh off of the situation than anything else. Because I say, yo, you spend your money, you go do grow, and then you go against what you do. You understand? So, yeah. The end of the day, the grower is to really teach people how to invest in the way Randy do it. And if a man really want to know why Randy is qualified to teach something like grow and teach people how to invest, it's just like investing into stocks. Do your research and you know who Randy is. It's simple. A man just have to know why I'm qualified to teach something like that, and teaching it his way for baby money.
Well,
to where somebody can learn from grow, basically to me, baby money. You invest.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, of course. You apply what you learn in a grow up.
Let me just say before anybody gets it wrong. I don't know if I'm qualified in terms of there's no official qualification, but so I don't want people to say, well, where is your qualification for? I don't know if there's like a teaching course, right? Like how you have to do a specific course to be an official teacher, JT or something. But yeah, I mean, thank you for it, and I'm always happy for impromptu ad. The people I think
but when me call qualification still a profit, so.
Well, that's me.
Same thing me call it,
proof is profit. Yeah. I tell people every grower say I only guarantee the information as far as helping you to make money. So
and a lot of people can attest to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So really the only way. the thing about it, me never really want to get in on stocks because what I have even learned along with this is that me not really want to talk about something I'm gonna have all the information. Exactly. So of course, me not go just come on the space and say, boy, you know, say me like that stock and me do grow. Me know which part of the conversation I go lead to. So if me not prepared to come with me information to talk about the stock, I really and truly not go do it. So
which is right.
That's the thing, definitely.
At your level you can get that, but you also know that I even heard it earlier. I still do allow people to talk. Everybody not gonna be an expert, and people have to get carried along to a level. And that's part of why I do a lot of this free stuff. It's not really free. Like I said, Jerry do a lot for free. There's a cost. It's just that it's not the people getting it, paying it, right? Sydney and Dana there.
Well,
Friday night.
me need for job, Jerry things still, you know. I realize that, I like say Jerry do things for free like that. I mean, him not charge or just that. Me and him are bridging and him say, boy, here's a way to make money.
He pays the price, because
of course,
he pays the price in the same way I pay the price in time.
Of course.
Energy,
Yeah,
but
so
I'm glad that you see it. I'm glad you see it, and thank you for the endorsement.
Yeah, man, respect my boss.
Yeah, big up, General.
Big up.
Big up fee shortcut in my boss. I say, all right.
Yeah, best of it.
All right, then I know we were calling it there, but I see Duffy rejoin, so I see chap one last thing, and then we're definitely saying good night, everybody. I'm not going until 2 a.m. or 12 or even 1. I've got tomorrow, and I have a little bit of work to do before I go, because some people have some emails to get.
I'm surprised. So Duffy,
right? And bro got some free with fully, you know, brother.
Really, well, I don't know if we can do the Friday thing every time, no people.
Duffy.
Hey. Oh, well, I'm glad you said that it was to the end, because I have a little story for you that you might find funny. So I was talking to somebody about the Edifocal IPO, and you know, people generally talk around these things. And they, you know, you have you specifically, and they have people who watch your tweets and stuff, but have never for years and have never gone to any classes. So I was talking to somebody like that, and they were saying they were going to wait until you say something about the IPO before they move on it. So I was just like, why not go to one of his classes and ask him. And like that's exactly what they said. And I was just like, so you really think you're going to get enough information from his free out in the open tweets and say, yeah, man, I've been doing this for years and it's great. I'm like, okay, great. So but he says he doesn't see where you have said anything about it yet. So I was like, pause, have you read the IPO, like read it cover to cover? Because I have. And I was like, and he was like, yeah, man, I read it cover to cover. And I'm like, you've read every single line item. Like, are you visually impaired? I need to know, like, who I'm talking to. Like, you're sure? He's like, yeah, man, I just waited for Randy to say something.
Let me pause. I know where you might be. I have a good idea where you're
going.
But here's what I'll say to you about this. You are now also experiencing something that when you actually start to do the research, it will happen to you. People tell you something, like, no, I'm going to read it. And you know they haven't read it because you have read it. And you know that questions that they're asking or the things they're saying, if they'd read it, they would not be asking or saying that. And that will happen to you again and again. It's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to you with people that you would not expect to do it. And you're going to have, no, but you're an expert. How could you be making this mistake? Get used to it. Get used to it.
You guys are wondering if you're the one living the lie.
Right, and exactly that. This is someone who's been making change, basic in their mind, off of in my mind, I should say, off of the free information that you've been giving, quote unquote. So imagine if they actually took the time to read the IPO and fork up the money, because they clearly have it, to go to one of your sessions and talk to you. Like I really didn't want to laugh in their face, but I did. But yeah, thought you'd enjoy that story.
Not really.
It's a common story. If I tell you some stories.
Very, very common story. I know people who have made more than $1 million off my free tweets, but would never pay for my class because I not pay 85 years. But you're investing.
I have people that
hundreds of
followed us, make money, back of money, and they come to the session and they tell me how hesitant they were to come, despite listening to us for years and then trying to scrape information to make. And they've done it, make money off of things to say, and I'm still not pay for that though. Or I suggest grower and I say, but you say you want to learn all these things and you listen to the man already. Just go learn from the man. Oh, let me tell you something. When I said to Randy on Twitter, my first interaction with Randy on Twitter was, yo, we start to buy, something like that. And this brother come and tell me about join group. So what kind of chap this when I teach me? Why is he teaching me? Let's show me the start for buying a youth.
But just want to know if Fiscal good or not, or if, like I say, or if Ian Parker can be on YouTube. Is the market level for your CPJ over? I just want to know if you must sell.
Yes. But then again, the brother that asked that question, him to know better. But market over fear over CPJ, and him know I said that I know your brother. If he should know better than that to ask that question, especially in your position.
A lot of that will happen, and a lot of that does happen because, like, I will tell you, he's been hearing it for years. So you hear him start the story about where him start with it. I measure myself based on how I deal with a skeptic. You know what I used to do the early part of grow? If somebody say, yo, but now people that's a scam, I don't do it again, so don't expect this will happen. But if they're a scam and them talk about it's a scam, I just DM them and I give them a free ticket. I say, come and expose the scam. And I have done that enough to have people who go, yo, I really didn't realize. That people who they change their mind, them understand. No. It worth it to a level. I used to put a lot of energy in just giving it away for free. After I realized, yo, you can't pour from an empty cup. If I'm broke and hungry, nobody's gonna remember that. Nobody's gonna remember that. So I still give a lot
in the wrong way.
Yeah.
What
I do know is I ensure that the people who we still give software for free, but the people who pay the money and actually learn and then see the benefit. I always say that people tend to start grow thinking 85 US, me not pay that too dear. And when it done, and I've heard this out of them out, when it done, yo, you should charge more. Because I give much more than 85 US worth of everything I think. But thank you guys very much for the ad. I really like that instead of the brokerage house ads. And it feels good because it made me know that the effect is being seen out there and people are learning. And big up Dana for saying reading is fundamental. Read the prospectus. People, how you feel about Edifocal? I think Edifocal is amazing. I think it's an amazing opportunity. And I can say openly, I don't have no reserve shares. I'm not in the reserve class, but I will be buying like everybody else. I will be doing my little application on my own, and I will be buying when it lifts, and I will be continuing to buy. Nobody don't pay me to say that. Nobody don't have me say that's just the truth of what I will be doing with my money. And big up Swaby. I've known Swaby for years. I'm very, very proud to see him for this. I saw he had a set of tweets earlier today where he was talking about, just how one of the things that makes him better now is learning to read and understand financial statements. I know far I'm coming from with that because just like here, Dan, I said, I've known Sylvie for years, and there are times when I was that nine, brethren, I said, brother, I remember one conversation I said to him, I said, yo, you're going to hate me for saying this, but you need to be extremely savvy as a CEO. You need to know your numbers through and through. You need to understand financials. It is not boring stuff. It is the language of business. By the way, I'm not an accountant or anything like that, but I just learned it. It's like how you learn law. Because you do stuff long enough, you've read them long enough, you understand the principles. So now in 2022, when I see him saying this, I feel proud as hell. I'm happy about it. I'm happy about him. I'm happy about the listing. And, well, like I say, I'm going to be buying heavily. And so whoever is listening to the free class for that, do not listen to try and buy off that. Read the prospectus and speak to a licensed investment advisor. And I hope that you don't buy like me because I don't need the competition. All right. I do not need the competition in the market. Big up to Sylvia and the team. Big up to everybody thank you guys for asking the questions. Thank you guys for the endorsements. And of course, Dan, I thank you for the time. Thank you guys for your ears. Yeah, it's been a really, really good evening. I'm going to call time on it now because I do have to prep and grow. It's 10:30 in the morning and I need to sleep first. All right. So thank you guys. And like I said, one last time, I think the code expires in the next 10 minutes. So if you want to go to grow at 10:30 tomorrow morning, this is your last minute code. It's last minute bricks. Enter it at everymickle.com/grow and you'll get 5% off. And if you do that, you'll see me 10:30 bright and early on your screen, in not like this, but in a proper class, without a class, streaming class. And yeah, if you haven't gotten your email yet, don't worry, I haven't forgotten you. You're getting the email soon. Thank you guys and good night.